it.
Hmm?
Uh, yeah, I guess I was. I forgot to take notes during the session last week, and then
Oh.
I never had time this week to go back and rewatch everything. So honestly, I've got no notes to share. I apologize.
Alright. Well, I can give a little bit. Do you think you'll still be able to put something in there? Would you be willing to go back at some point and add a small recap about what happened?
Yeah, I'll try and watch the stream this week, and I'll put some placeholders in there.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If you want to put a placeholder in there. All right. Let me look through my notes and see what of this I can read out loud.
I think that part of it was combat, and that's kind of why I forgot to take notes. But then
Yeah,
we got out of combat, and there was probably some strategy and talk. So.
yeah. It was definitely a heavy combat because there was a lot of fighting still. So the group continued to fight with the mutant frost giants. You were fighting the boss. It was getting kind of close, but luckily, Betha was able to escape from the Ramaraz, and that brought back some of your people who were on the brink. Then you were able to bring the giant down finally. The group was allowed, well, not allowed, but the group looted the tent, getting some of the possessions from the frost giant, uh, who had some decent stuff. It was a bunch of gold, a bunch of platinum, some boots of elven kind, a weird holy symbol that was identified by Zalia, finding some strange properties that she didn't want to discuss, and couldn't couldn't know exactly what they were, I believe, as well as a guardian emblem. You celebrated with the allied frost giants. Apparently, Theo successfully flirted with Kaivara. Put that in my notes.
Woohoo!
Rolling fairly well on those. Ivor was also speaking with Kaivara, attempting to improve relations with the clan. Kaivara seemed interested in science and magics of the smaller folk, which Theo spoke with her a bit about. You had the choice between going through the territory of the ancient whites and the kobolds, or through the underground abandoned dwarven passage. There was some arguments, but the group came to the decision to go through the abandoned dwarf city, which is now claimed by a fire giant clan. Apparently, there was some arguments also as to whether the group would leave right away or give yourselves some time to rest and recuperate from the uh, pretty intense battle that you went through. And I believe that's where we left off. So I assume you're going to rest another day. Is that what
I
you
thought
said?
I thought we had gotten one night's rest because I rolled for the staff of power, so I think we.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you did get a one night's rest. I was talking about getting more rest. If you were gonna
So I
stay,
lost one level of exhaustion then?
yes, you
Okay,
would
cool.
be down one level because the group
Oh,
did
3.
rest one evening.
And I think we were
Uh,
going to stay for at least one more night.
so it is. It is the 6th of winter. It's 7 a.m. So yes, you definitely rested a night.
Everyone, that we believe we are going into a place where we will face fire giants and lots of fire and forges and lava tubes and all that. So it
Seems
might
like a
be a good use of our time to create some fire protection potions while we're here if we have the.
It's going to take too long, most likely.
I think, well, if you want to stay 3 days, I think you could make one, 3.5 or 4 days. Donnie, and I think after all that, you get back to 3 levels of exhaustion, so your HP goes back to max, right?
Yes.
After all our changing of your HPs.
Yep.
Alright, so we're resting a day.
Oh, it's only uncommon.
I would like to cast Legend Lore during this day and also Contingency.
I would like to drink.
Don't drink so much that you don't recuperate, Donnie.
Talk to the blacksmith or flirt.
Okay, so the group heads back to the tribe's initial base. Some guards are left here to hold the territory for now, but the majority go back. Spending a day there is okay. So Donnie's drinking, kind of just trying to get on better terms with the giants as a whole, right?
That same group that I was partying with the first night, I am partying with them again and
Yeah.
challenging everyone to arm wrestling and drinking contests despite being only a third of their size.
And being at disadvantage.
Yep.
All right, so Donnie's hanging out and drinking and losing at arm wrestling contests probably. Theo is talking to the chieftain or chiefess and the blacksmith and just kind of hanging out as well. Ivor, what are you doing?
Good question. I don't think that I have any particular goals in mind. I've
I'm
already
gonna cast
sort of.
tongues on you. So if you wanted to talk to the fire giants or the frost giants that were here, I think I had said that last time.
I thought about it, and I did that a little bit. But I don't think that I would want to do it every day. I think that either I would get bored or I would become annoying. So I think I'll probably just be minding my own business for once.
Just keeping it cool.
These dwarven caves of any interesting history or background. I'm specifically thinking of Arcthane and his origin.
So they don't have anything related to you, I don't think. The city was an old Therian settlement that was taken by the giants at one point during the cataclysm. So a lot of the Therian people were killed or driven out. But as for its relationship to Arcthane I think was already buried within a tomb when that happened.
I was guessing, but I thought Arcthane would be older, but that was thought worth asking. Donnie
Well,
would.
it is older than that city for sure. But at that point in history, it was already buried with the. I think it was the son or grandson of the king of the empire. That's where you found it in that one tomb,
Yep.
right?
Correct.
Yeah, so it was buried there for a while.
Donnie would still be attempting to learn a little bit maybe about these fire giants and dwarves from the non-leader of the group to see what kind of the normal folks say or think about this path that we've chosen.
You mean the giants in general?
Yeah, the ones I'm drinking with.
So they think you're all crazy. They think that the fire giants will stamp you all into paste, but they do admit that you are a lot smaller and probably harder to see, so maybe you'll sneak between their legs or whatever you small people do, is how they phrase it.
Would continuously remind them that I'm the one that fucking killed the leader of this last battle, not any of them.
And shrug. They would just laugh at you and say, yeah, and he took a good part of you with him, laughing at you a little. But yeah, they know that your people have more of a proclivity for stealth than they do. Zalia, what about you? Any thoughts on what you want to do, or are you just hanging out?
Sorry, I was muted. I'd like to cast Legend Lore during the day on the religious artifact to see if I can suss out what the other
Okay.
components of it are. And then at the end of the day, prior to bed, I will cast Contingency on myself to cast False Life at level 5, the same way I did before. Should I fall below 25% health?
Okay. Could you link me legend, lore, and contingency?
Mhm.
Okay. So contingency. Legend lore, and you have that. Yeah, you made the statuette worth 1,500. I remember that. Okay, and you consume the 250 worth of components slash uh, was
Legend log.
yeah
Yeah.
incense. Okay. So I will send you some more information.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I gotta look something up. One moment. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
Pretty expensive spell.
Yeah, I don't have to cast it that often, but
Well, it's useful. Don't get me wrong. Just expensive.
we do have like 2,500 worth of arcane regions, so
Just remember that next time Theo's asking for more money for crafting supplies.
My arts make money.
Man, he can have all the dough he wants if he
yeah.
makes me more sweet shit.
Have we denied him money for crafting supplies?
No, I'm joking. I'm not.
Oh.
No shade. Just joking.
Theo perks his ears up, just like, how dare! I make masterworks!
Throw all the money at Theo.
All right. That's what you get.
Throw enough money, might pop out a flying ship.
Basically, the first two are the same attribute.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay.
It's fine. Obviously, nothing bad.
No, could possibly go wrong. So when we're gathered on the evening, I will pull out the amulet and I will say about this symbol. I've been doing a little bit of work today, and I think I mentioned the other day or yesterday that it could restore health. Roughly a good charge of energy, let's say 1d6 of hit points, for example, every 10 minutes, provided that you're not unconscious. If you lose a body part, it can help you to regenerate. But there's one good thing about it and one bad thing about it, I think. The good thing being that it actually makes you quite large. So if you're small, it makes you large, and if you're large, you become a giant.
Eh?
Permanently, I believe.
Eh?
For several days of attunement, or at least semi. Well, do I know that, Lou? Is it permanent, the change?
So, um, so it doesn't actually make you one size larger. It's just if you aren't large, you become large, and it lasts. It takes a while to happen, and it lasts as long as you are attuned.
The downside is you're connected with the consciousness of Valprak, that evil god. So, probably not something any of us want to wear. Look around at the group and see if they're
Theo's hands
In
up.
agreement?
You say you put your hand up, Theo?
Yeah, how influential do you think it's going to be having Vaprak in your head? Do you think it'd be a genuine corruption over time thing, or more so you annoy him back?
I think it might have a better. With my religion knowledge, Lou, would I have an understanding of what it would be to connect to an evil god? Like, would it like burn your
So,
consciousness away?
in general, there are different levels of power to personalities. If you go to God level, it's probably going to influence you over time, whether or not you want it to. Mechanic wise, it requires saving throws to not let yourself be corrupted by the influence.
Right. Yeah. So, yes, I believe it would turn you evil or something. Perhaps make you insane.
Yeah,
Already there?
you would guess that it would likely cause you to start adopting aspects of Vaprak, like chaos and consumption and yeah, probably evil.
So Theo?
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. And my suggestion would be that we put it away, and when we get back to the capital, give it to someone to study. Perhaps we can trade it for
Eh,
something.
I would like to look in potentially getting the whole connection of Vaprak removed off of it, if that is something religious folk can do. I want to
We
look at
certainly
it at
could look
least,
into it.
and then if that doesn't pan out, then yeah, sell it or something. Also, definitely willing to take that gamble. Being large would be cool, especially if I cast it large on myself and it get real big.
I can cast enlarge on you, Theo. I don't think
Yeah,
it's worth the
What's the
price
name
of
of the
your
god?
soul. That
Vaprak.
prac. It's the one that these abominations worship.
Zalia. But if you cast enlarge on me and I cast enlarge on me, they won't stack. If I have that on me and then cast enlarge on me, I get big.
Anyone? Can anyone help me here?
I think it's a terrible fucking idea, Theo.
Yes, the connection to a god of such power and destruction is most likely going to uh, destroy your consciousness, my friend. I don't think it is worth the risk.
Oh, but be
I,
big.
I think this item should be destroyed if possible. If we give it to someone else, we risk it falling into the wrong hands or possibly to a giant who would use it for evil and destruction.
I actually kind of agree with that.
I'm not opposed to destroying it, although I don't like the idea of. I mean, it could be studied to great effect and possibly traded with people that we trust. Perhaps the Artificers Guild.
Yes, perhaps if were to end up in a place where it could be guarded and studied, but this would still be taking a risk. I am not sure how one would even destroy an item of this power, at least not safely.
I know quite a few ways, just not safely.
Yes,
But
the keyword is safely.
I'm not entirely sure we can destroy it, to be honest. We could probably toss it in the lava, but there's no
I think
telling.
it'd be best once we get back to the capital, talk to religious folks there and
Well,
see what they do.
I know some people within the empire would be interested in studying it for sure. Boulder Bottom says.
What kind of study? Like use it, study it, or
He says there's a couple of different places devoted to the study of giants and evil gods like Vaprak. I forget if he had an accent or not. Boulder Bottom. But the what's it called? Do I not have the name here? Right, I'll look in this one. The Drogoth Empire, the Dwarven Empire, the Drogoth Empire has people who study giant culture and artifacts that would be interested in seeing something like this. They might know how to destroy it, but we'd have to go to the Drogoth Empire for that.
Oh, I want to.
Right. Well, let's put it away for now, and we can tackle the problem another day. I can't destroy it today anyway.
Or get it to the Artisans Guild and have them try and reverse engineer it to get it ambigifying onto other things.
I have a feeling that the ambigifying comes from the connection to the god.
I would imagine that all of these things probably come from the connection to the god. If I were a god and I had created an artifact, I would not make it work without my blessing.
A link of power. This is probably correct, Boulder Bottom says. The link to the god is most likely where the power is drawn. Sever that link and most likely the magics would fail to function.
Right.
Just a guess.
And I'll be a dragon one day anyways.
Very delicately pick it up and drop it into the bag of holding.
Alright. What about Betha? What's Betha doing today?
Nothing pivotal, but she would probably, kind of like Donnie's hanging with the soldiers, she would seek out, I don't know if they technically have healers, but whoever does like any kind of natural medicine or, the midwives or the shamans or whatever, just kind of exchange, shaman, exchange herbal knowledge a little bit, share some stuff, see if she can learn some stuff.
So there is a shaman. Give me a persuasion check. To see
I feel
how
like this
you're-
is a mouse going up to an elephant and be like, you know how to heal?
Yeah, let's let's not bother with this attempt. Persuasion.
maybe a
Go for it, you
roll.
might roll good. Or they might know that healing comes down to knowledge and opportunity.
Give me a medicine check. I'll say you guys maybe talk some medicine. Do you want to reveal your medicine knowledge to the shaman?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, give me a medicine check.
18.
Alright, so... you...
Which is actually not that good considering I can't roll below 11.
Yeah, you speak to her a bit. She learns a little bit from you on some of your training and healing. A lot of her healing knowledge is, I don't want to say outdated, but more less medical and more superstitious. So she learns some interesting tidbits from you. Do you have a recipe for a potion of superior healing?
I don't think so. You've only given me
Greater.
up to the uncommon.
Yeah. So she does
Now-
know how
now
to make
there
one
were-
of those, and she
there
would teach
were-
that to you.
Oh, okay. Because there were some books of some alchemy books that were falling apart that we found in the Shadow Dragon stash, and we
Yeah.
took them and gave them to Chiron, and then Betha specifically asked if she could discuss with Chiron their contents, but like we never really got to like roleplay that. So I don't know whether or not we had other recipes in our hands.
So alchemy is usually non-healing. Healing is more herbalism, which is what this
Okay.
what this
Yeah.
person.
Gotcha.
That's why
knows.
Betha's the healing master and Theo cannot help.
Yeah. So
Oh, cool.
apparently this shaman also has a lot of knowledge of herbalism and shares her potion of superior healing knowledge with you in exchange for some of your ideas that you give her.
That's some awesome knowledge.
Nice. Thank you.
All right. So
Congrats, Betha.
that is pretty much what happens for the day. So you would rest. Give me a d20 roll. Let's throw some chaos in the mix. Does something happen during the day that's interesting? No, not with a 10. It's pretty safe. The giants are well protected, their areas. I'm guessing the group is still against doing the Remora mission.
I want to!
I know you want to. So she might bring it up once more, but she's definitely not hinging it on anything. She would just see if you were interested. I'm assuming you're all going
Just
to say no.
If
just to clarify, was that greater or superior?
superior,
Superior.
Very
above greater.
Oh, okay. Because I don't think she knows greater yet, but that's cool.
And
Oh,
Theo
all
would
right.
then try and re-explain to everybody that then taming remoras is like how you see a lot of humans and stuff go out and get falcons and tame them, to where it's not a bad thing, more so culture and it. He tries to make it seem to where it's not a bad thing. It's just different than us little people, but knows it's really not going to go anywhere. And then try and talk to Chief Justice and be like, after we deal with the Shadowfell, because there are effort, we are focusing on something that's threatening every life here potentially. Might be able to help you if y'all haven't gotten any by then.
She says, "Well, most likely, once the snows melt a bit, we might send some people to just take care of it. Uh, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I just wanted to get a jump on the training, but we can do it later. It is not a big deal." So the time would pass. I'll say another day goes by. It is now the 7th of winter. You can go ahead and minus another level of exhaustion. I don't think another long rest helps other than that. What do you all want to do? You ready to go?
Some
Do
of
you want to wait more?
Donnie's at 2 now.
I believe so.
Yes, 2.
It'd be worth heading out. We don't know what we're going to encounter along the way, but it probably won't be that bad. And if we need to, we can sleep before we enter.
Agreed.
All right. So
Oh.
Boulder Bottom nods. He says, "I have all my things ready for the journey."
Like, so out of character though, Gray, do you want to get another night?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Donnie and Gray are in agreement. He'll be fine.
So one thing that the giants mentioned to you, Donnie, is that while you seem to be very fierce in combat, you might want to look into some more protection for yourself. Maybe you won't get pummeled as much if you have more of that metal stuff that your people wear.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right.
Donnie
Would-
would flex a little bit in front of them and like, their scars give me power.
Cheers! Her here. All right. So yeah, you ready to go?
Before we do head out, Theo would talk with Kaibara again, say bye and stuff, and also ask if there's any chance they have any belts that might help Donnie out with hitting a bit harder if he would like.
Are you asking her for like a giant strength belt?
Yes, belt of Frost Giant if
So
we've done enough to earn their favor.
she doesn't really have an item like that. Most of her people have no need of it because they're already that strong. But she says the dwarves have made items like that, and some of your people have. So if you're going through the city, you might find something like that left behind.
It was worth an ask and stuff, because it does say that sometimes giants will bestow these on things that they deem as allies.
She says, "Well, we don't actually have anything like that. My apologies."
No need to apologize. But y'all stay safe, and hopefully we will see you all again.
Says yes, and maybe next time we can go and speak with the people of Dezoric. It sounds like that might be something that can be set up in secret. Maybe an alliance could be formed. And Chevreau nods. He says, "Hey, we definitely propose it if you wish to speak with them later. My family might be willing to, but I would have to speak with them first." She nods.
Theo gets a big grin on his face. Connections between different people. It's how we all get better.
Alright, so the group is heading out through the snow. Boulder Bottom will be doing one of the checks. Does anyone want to help him with survival?
Well, if Auntie doesn't want to, don't think it's good for Donnie. Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Um,
Betha's on it.
I will be casting Rary's telepathic bond every hour. As we go.
Okay. So you're heading through the snow. Boulder Bottom and Betha are doing a pretty good job of finding pathways that aren't covered in snow, so you're making good time as you head north. You come to the base of a large mountain. It's getting towards the end of the day. Boulder Bottom says, I believe once we get to the top here, we're going to be getting close to the opening. If what the tribe said is correct, there might be enemies there. Dwager, and he spits.
How far are we from them?
He says, we have to do some climbing here, move up the path. I'd say a couple of hours.
And Dwager, do they count as smaller? They're medium too.
I believe they're medium. But they're like the size of dwarves. The deep dwarves. So it's about 3 o'clock now. He says, we've been making good time, so I guess we're going to get up there around 5. We'll still have sunlight. Probably for the better. Nighttime will be harder as they can see well in the dark.
You can see decently in the dark, but not super well, except for a couple.
He says, is there what are your all thoughts on how we're getting past them? Do you have a way of slipping by, or are we going to have to fight our way in? Might be good to figure that out before we get up there.
Well, we've already discussed it at length. You're not with us. We're going to discuss seeming and all look like the dark dwarves. I remember the pictures very well. Except for Donnie, who we will turn into a juvenile fire giant. And
Wait, what is this?
if we're going to
You
make
can't-
you look like a juvenile fire giant, that we are returning to the fire giants.
Yes, because you're too tall to make look like a dwarf.
Quite. Plus, you speak
But
giant.
you're tall enough to be a small giant.
Nods. He says, that'll probably work. How many can you use that spell on?
We didn't hear you.
All of us.
Alright, so myself and Chivro as well.
Right.
Alright.
And if we want to make it extra sneaky, if Betha, if you want to, she can make it to where we're a lot stealthier as a whole.
Yes, for an hour at a time, but yes, certainly.
He nods. So you start making your way up the cliffside. Give me a d20 roll.
Somebody else want to do it? Donnie, you do it.
I don't have David.
Yeah. And I got a 10, so I don't want to roll again. Yeah, Donnie!
Okay.
Doesn't necessarily mean high is good.
No,
I like seeing the big numbers.
I actually did change it so higher is better.
Aw.
Yeah,
Okay.
people were complaining that completely random. They never knew what the dice meant.
That's fair.
Hey,
alright.
I got that money to get you that axe before.
So heading up the mountain, as you are going, does anyone have passive perception of 18 or over?
Bell
Donnie.
But he's having trouble loading in right now.
Yeah.
Beldani. Maybe I can play Beldani then. Oh wait, did someone message me?
Sneak in main chat. Bell, we need you!
Yeah, I think he had to restart his computer because he's been offline for a bit.
Your eyeballs are so much better than the rest of ours put together.
Alright, so Beldani, does he have exhaustion? I don't think he does.
I'm
No.
pretty sure he doesn't.
Especially after 2 days.
He might have had one, but not up to the rest.
Yeah, I don't actually think he went down. I think he came close to it, but I believe
It was
he
just me and Donnie.
That's correct.
luckily, like he was, because the king was gonna go for him, but then Donnie like ran in and distracted him and just kept getting knocked down like whack-a-mole.
Hey, he gets knocked down, but he gets up again.
Yep,
Never gonna keep him down.
All right, so Donnie is you're all, or were you saying something?
I was joking that I quit because of
Oh.
that comment.
Fair enough. So as you're all climbing, Donnie would he's kind of looking around. The wind's blowing. He says, "Oh, hold on a moment. I think I see something." And he kind of slides into a cave nearby. That's kind of a tight fit. He says, "Wait out here. I'll be right back." Boulder Ron says, we should go. We don't want to be stuck on these. It'll just be a moment. I promise."
Donnie comes back with 20 Durgar heads.
So he comes back out and he says, "Professor, I think there's something in here you should have a look at."
Wander over.
So he kind of squeezes into this little cave a bit, and he says, "I found some strange symbols. I thought maybe you would know what they are. Do you? Well, give me a history check, Zalia." As he shows you some symbols marked on the side of the cave wall there. You don't recognize. Well, you speak, or do you speak Dwarven?
Yes.
Okay, so this looks like an older form of Dwarven, quite old, probably 12th cycle, but maybe older. You're not sure. You think that this might be a waypoint marker that scouts would use for supply caches or to mark some place of relevance.
Okay, just so that you know, my feature as archaeologist is that when I enter a ruin or dungeon, I can correctly ascertain its original purpose and determine its builders.
Okay.
So if there's
So then you would definitely think this is Dwarven, and he is well. And yeah, your assertion was correct. You believe this is this may have been a small structure built to leave supplies in, either for travelers or maybe for others who were allies to whoever scout or whatever scout group this was. You're not sure how to, or you don't see any supplies around though.
intact.
Well, all you would see is the markings on the rock, which
So I don't actually see a building. I just see markings on the rock.
You would see some area carved out, like there's kind of like as if it may be partially carved out, but you don't see anything of note, like the actual supplies. Although investigation might tell you more if you want to take a moment to look around.
I will investigate. I will cast enhance ability on myself to do that.
Okay.
But prior to that, I will call everyone, or I will call to the others and say, I think there's some sort of ancient supply depot or something, but I can't tell if it's a foundation or perhaps something hidden. And I'll start rooting about.
Well, doors are famous for going down.
All right. Boulder
Yep.
Bottom would come in because he's curious, and he says, "Oh, yeah, that's a supply depot marker. You see these sometimes in the mountains from the olden times. Says there might be something around here. Check
Oh,
your
look.
check your geocache."
Secret doors.
Alright, so with a 29, you do indeed find a couple of rocks that you can move aside, and
Hey!
behind them is a kind of carved out area that looks like it might be some kind of underground garden. As you see, kind of some nicely carved out, like, walkway with a dirt planter area in the middle and a bunch of stuff growing.
Good job, Beldani. You just found us some stuff.
Yep. Well done, Baldani. There's some sort of garden down here. So is it like
Excellent.
under, like, I would descend into it? Is it lit or
Yeah,
is it just?
so it is not lit. You kind of have to go down a bit of a steep drop, but at the bottom you see a bunch of what look like glowing vines. Do you have any nature knowledge?
Hi.
I do. Actually, no, I'm not proficient, but I believe that.
So there are several neat looking plants in here. Looks like they haven't been tended in a while, but they're still growing nonetheless. You wonder how they got water down here.
Am I? So did I climb down there? I'm sorry. Was there a ladder or something, or was it just like down a slope?
Just a like steep slope.
Okay, I'll call back up. There's some interesting flora down here, Auntie. If you want to come and have a look. Gosh, I don't know how it's getting
Me to
water
come down there and protect you too.
I'm
Yo,
quite
come with me.
right.
You have to die for this stuff.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I will
Because
investigate.
honestly, even though Betha is trained in nature, insight is not, or intelligence is not really her stat.
I will turn to Beldani, who I assume David accompanied me down because you and I were in
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
And
the
I will
real
say-
Beldani's here.
there. I will say, Beldani, do you think they're getting any water? Can you see anything? And I'll start to investigate to see if I can find anything and see if I can get Beldani to do the same.
Can Betha
Oh.
and I?
Assist you in your investigation.
Unless it's perception, and I will assist you.
No, you can use investigation.
Alright, cool. I still have Enhance ability up, so.
So you when you climb down there, you start looking around. You notice that the soil is wet. You wonder if this may have been built nearby or on top of, some sort of water source that is still watering this area. Because it seems like the soil is wet and these plants have been overgrowing for a while. This area is pretty rich with them.
So is it warmer here than everywhere else?
It is a little bit warmer in here, which is also a little bit curious. Though these plants
We found a natural hot spring.
Yeah, these plants don't necessarily need warmer weather to grow, but you do notice it's a little warmer in here than it is outside.
Right. So is it a cave situation?
It is a cave, but the cave is a little bit more carved out than a normal cave. Like when you slope down, it goes into an area where the stone is worked and the walls of the stone are worked to create this little I don't know what you'd call it, but an area like there's a walkway on each side, and in between the two walkways is like kind of like this huge, almost like thing of dirt where all these plants are growing out of, if that makes sense. And the dirt is wet, or at least moist.
I was looking for the source of that because I assumed that there was water.
Yeah, so it seems like water is coming in. If you go further back, you would hear something like water running, and it looks like the water is flowing out of some holes in the wall down into the planter area. So it looks like this area is being watered by maybe some kind of underground spring, or maybe an underground river, or something in the mountain. That's maybe whoever made this place tapped off of a waterway and kind of diverted some of the water this way through these walls.
I'd like to reach out and put my hand in the water to see if it's what temperature it is.
It seems to be cool. Not icy, but cool.
Turn to Beldani and say, that's rather curious, isn't it?
Someone went through a lot of trouble to create this little garden and make sure it was irrigated. Seems like it's been abandoned for a while.
Indeed.
This
Well,
must have been here for a long time.
the runes seem to indicate it was some sort of refueling stop, so I imagine they're of some use. Betha, Donnie,
Dwarves?
have you got any insight?
Betha. Okay, so 24.
Ooh,
These are definitely rare herbs. The glowing vine, as well as some of the other plants growing in here, can be used as primal components. I kind of got
are
rid
these
of the rare herbs, just made them nature/primal components.
so
They're
are
basically the
these
same thing.
so they're components that could be used in potions and spellcasting, or are these like the glowing vines we found at the near the Alcavian labs that could be used in
Oh,
magic item creation?
no, those are artificially made. These are natural, and these are more for potion and spell fueling.
Excellent. Guys, I think we should harvest as many of these as we can. It might be worth the delay. These are quite useful.
Sounds like a good idea.
Boulder
Just a
bottom.
question,
Yeah.
Lou. Sorry, I'm confused about the system. So, we had 1,000 GP of rare snowflowers and herbs. Is this a different thing than that?
So those can basically become nature/primal components because I kind of merged those because it was kind of confusing people of the two different things. So they're basically nature components.
Because I've
And
never
we
heard primal as a word for components before. Is that different than just
Uh,
plain old nature components?
So I'm kind of using nature. They started using primal as a source in D&D 1, so it might become that at some point if I switch over to any of those rules because they have like arcane, I think divine and primal are the magic sources that they named.
It's
Okay,
kind of
what they-
synonymous with natural and nature type stuff.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing, just a different word for it.
It's just that primal could, in theory, be more than nature, but nature couldn't be more than nature. So I just want to make sure. Should I just say nature
Yeah,
components?
let's
Or...
just go with nature. That's fine.
And is it
So
a nature reagent or is it
Component.
an unrefined component? Okay.
Oh, good question.
that was
Actually,
that was going to be my next question. With your changes, is there still like kind of raw or unrefined stuff
Yeah,
versus
no,
stuff
there
that's
is.
been
There's
refined?
essences. I think this would be. Yeah, this would probably be an essence because this is unrefined. So we'll say it could be like a nature essence. These herbs.
Okay.
And my last question is, would these same nature essences or reagents be used for making poison, or poison's a separate beast entirely?
They could possibly. Um, yeah, we'll say they can. They can be used for like healing potions, certain types of other potions, and probably poisons as well.
Wrong amounts of the same thing can kill rather than heal.
Yeah.
Vivid Palace.
So it depends on how they're refined, probably. So you want to spend some time to collect them?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Boulderbond was a little concerned, but he says we've made some pretty good time. It just means we'll get up there closer to 6 or so rather than 5. So you spend the hour. Is anyone helping you collect these, or is it just you?
I'll help.
What does it require?
It'd be nature or herbalism.
Theo will help.
Yeah.
Okay, so go
Do I
ahead
have to
and make some
roll
rolls.
again, or does my first roll? Okay.
That was more for identifying them. That was quick. That was like a quick check.
Looks like I'm helping Theo.
Theo, save us. Oh, there you go.
Ooh.
Nice.
So
I'm
there
good with plants.
are quite a few of these plants as you start getting the parts you need. Are you going to harvest all of them?
Well, if we're spending the time to do it, then no, gotta leave enough for it to be able to regrow.
Okay, so you do want to leave enough so it can possibly regrow over time.
Yeah, you don't just buy.
5%.
Yeah,
So like maybe a couple of each plant just to be safe.
yeah.
Okay.
Make it to where a place can regrow to what it once was. Never want to just go in and wipe everything out.
All right.
Agreed.
So you harvest a reasonable amount, leaving some behind to be able to refill this irrigated area.
I think between me and Betha, with the nature, we can figure out the right amount to where this will actually grow back.
Yeah. So you get about 700 gold pieces worth of nature component, or not components, essence from these herbs and plants.
And when we get downtime, we can figure out what to use them on.
Leave behind about 300 to make sure they can regrow.
We said 95%, not
No, if that's how much it
70%.
takes to let it regrow and stuff, then yeah.
Zalia's like, I think you're leaving too many.
Agricultural husbandry is not your expertise, Professor.
You know people, we know plant.
Seems like you're leaving an awful lot of waste, but all right. Okay.
Boulder Rhymes.
Renewable resources.
Maybe, maybe over like a few seasons we can come back and there'll be more.
Pull out our map,
The,
cartography tools to mark the
Yeah,
place
Boulder
on the map.
Bottom is definitely going to mark this. He says, I don't know if I'm going to come back this far, but it's good to know it's here. We are pretty deep into the mountains.
It's a place to acquire unfrozen fresh water, too.
That's actually
probably
a good
hide and rest
question.
too.
He says, did you see anything further back towards the very end? Maybe a pathway to get deeper in?
So I was going to say, one thing I will do while they're doing all that harvesting is I will look for secret doors, secret compartments.
So the cave does go further in. It looks like towards the back. Do you have a light source?
Can you see in the dark?
Sometimes seeing color is good.
Yeah, just for purposes of perception, because you would have disadvantage in the dark. But if you can see in the dark, towards the back, you would note that there is like a, let's say like a 2 foot wide by maybe 3 foot high crawl space, and you hear the sound of water flowing from behind it. Looking in, it looks like it goes about 10 to 15 feet, and then it might open up into a larger area.
Would you like me to investigate, Professor?
Yes, I was going to say, what do you make of that? I'd go through myself, but it looks a little muddy.
I don't mind. I'll squeeze through, and I will.
Yeah, it's a little wet in there. It's kind of slippery, but you go in. It seems like as you go in, it's getting colder. You kind of shimmy through the crawl space, and on the other side, you are in natural caves, where it looks like there is a. It looks like there's a. I don't even know how to describe it, but like a carved out thing that is kind of diverting the water down from somewhere higher up. You see water flowing down and like into another part of the wall where you imagine that kind of diverts it into the smaller holes that feed it into the soiled area.
I'll lean back into the crawl space area and sort of say, loud enough for the professor to hear, but softly enough that I'm not disturbing anything in the cave.
Okay. So it looks like the actual water source is higher up. You might have to climb if you want to get up to it, but it's a little bit more open in here. So you think you could climb if you wanted to, if you're that interested.
Are you down with us at the back of the cave at all?
Who's you?
Ivor, sorry.
What was the question? Am I in the cave with you?
Yeah, are you like at the back of the cave with Beldani and I?
Certainly can be. I mean, I would say, there's nothing particularly interesting about any of this cave to me, but if my presence was requested, I would not refuse you.
I will call you over if you're not there, and I will say, could you send your little friend in there to give Beldani a hand?
I can certainly ask. And I will, in fact, ask Tender in my mind if he would not mind supporting Donnie in his tactical espionage of this cave?
Eldani.
So
Yes.
there is
Eldani.
a poof as you see the little imp standing on Ivor's shoulder, giving Saley a polite bow. He says, "I would be happy to take a look." And he kind of hops off and flies in, at which point...
See him anyway, can't I?
Hmm?
Can I see him anyway?
Oh, can you see invisibility?
Doesn't Devil Sight give me the ability to see him?
No.
No?
No. That's just with darkness.
Blind sight does. Donnie can see him if he's standing near Donnie, but I don't think... Devil sight just gives you perfect vision in darkness, so you don't get the disadvantage.
True Sight, like, let me see him that one time. Okay.
Yes,
Yep.
True Sight does, yes. So he flies in there. He sees Beldani and kind of lands on a rock near him, and he says, "Greetings. I was told you needed some help."
Yes, we're going to investigate the source of this water. I'm going to climb up. Just keep an eye out if you see anything. 2 sets of eyes are better than 1. And I'll start to head up towards the water source.
He nods, flapping his wings and fading out as he turns invisible. You hear him flying around near you as you're climbing. Give me an athletics check. It's a little slippery.
My favorite thing.
Not a terrible. Well, all right. So you're having some issues. You're like, damn it, yeah. You
Rocks are really wet.
Yeah, you're slipping a little. You're like, can't get a good handhold as you hear tinder flying up somewhere.
Can I poke my head in real quick and just vortex warp?
You would have to crawl through the 15
I
foot.
was going to say,
I'm assuming that they didn't tell us. They went down the
No,
hallway,
at
but
this point you're all still collecting
Yeah.
your herbs. This is kind of
otherwise I would have offered to send a familiar or cast spider climb.
how high up is the water source from where I am? Because I was going to say Beldani would probably try and climb for a good 30-45 seconds, see he's getting nowhere, and then just Blessing of the Raven Queen, poof, up to the water source.
So it looks like it might be about a 30-foot climb up to one of the ledges, which
Perfect.
might be near where the water source is.
So that's what I will do. I'll just spot that ledge, and shrug, and use the Blessing of the Raven Queen to teleport myself up to that ledge.
Alright, so there is a poof as you pop up to the ledge. Up here, looking around, you see the water. There's a bunch of water sort of flowing over a large area of the rocks in here. Some of it is being diverted down those little, I guess they kind of look like water slides, but most of it is flowing deeper into the mountain through an area that you probably couldn't climb onto unless you wanted to slide into it, though that could be very risky, as you don't know where that would take you. It doesn't look like you could climb because it's too slick.
I'm definitely not going tubing down any
Random.
cave aqueducts that I don't know where they go, so...
But it does look like most of this is natural, other than these carved out little areas where the water was diverted down into the garden.
Do I see...
You would guess, do you have, well, I don't think you have nature, but you might think there might be like a underground stream or maybe above ground stream that diverts into the mountain at some point and flows down this way.
Okay. Do I see anything of interest in this area where the water is coming in?
Not really. It looks very fresh. It's probably been filtered going through the underground a bunch, so it looks very clear and fresh. Probably good drinking water.
So fresh and so clean.
Yeah.
I will definitely refill my water skin from it then.
Alright, as you're doing that, Tinder appears. He says there are a lot of side caves and ways that the water diverts from here. Looks like it's carved out several paths, but I don't see anything dangerous. Might be interesting to explore this if you weren't already busy.
Well, we'll make a note of it. I'm sure the professor has already taken some drawings of this, so. But I think we should get our water, get the herbs that Theo and Betha are picking, and then continue on. And I'll climb back down.
All right, you climb back down, climb back into the tunnel area, and rejoin your group.
Yes.
So give me another. You can use athletics or acrobatics to get down. You can do like some parkour stuff.
I think acrobatics for sure.
Parkour. Hop, 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 hop. All right, so you kind of grab and slide a little, looking cool as you do so, and kind of do a tuck and roll as you hit the ground. Totally fine. And I assume rejoin the group.
Yes.
Now, I think I should talk to Ian in private for a moment.
Can do.
Secrets, yay!
Just real quick.
My favorite.
All right, I'll be right back. So that thing we talked about last time, do you remember?
The device?
Yes. Tinder was asking if you thought you could get a hold of the Vaprak amulet.
Yes, I was thinking about that after I found out what it does. I guess my question to Tinder would be, given what the professor has told us it does he have any reason to think it does something else or something more?
He says, well, the power source that it draws from, the Vaprak, there might be something I could do to harness some of the power. Actually, similar to what your friend said, harness the power without necessarily using that connection. So it might not give the exact power, but it could be useful in another way. Devils are often good at studying power sources, he says.
So you could perhaps find a way to wrangle some of the power and remove the influence of Vaprak from the power that you can sequester?
Says, yes, I don't know if any of your people could use it, but I might be able to use it to benefit us. And I know you're going to ask how. I don't know yet, he says. It would be. It's a bit of a curiosity. I would have to see it to give you more answers.
That's fair. In fact, I was going to ask how. Can I roll an insight check to intuit whether or not his intentions are malicious, and perhaps also whether or not this actually seems like a matter of curiosity, or if there's some other scheme that he has going on?
Give me insight.
Okay, and since I'm not good at it, I will probably leverage my reaction here in a second. Yeah, we're gonna pop some.
Dark one's on luck. Okay.
Eh.
So you seem like, or it seems like he's being honest in his intention. You don't sense like he has alternate reasons for wanting to do it. Like, he really does seem like he just wants to study it and maybe get something out of it.
Maybe gain some power.
Yeah.
Very well. All right. Well then, Theo's comment kills me. Then I will respond to him, and I will say that I will endeavor to find a way to get this to him if I can, without affronting the party. Either I'll try to do it discreetly, or I'll ask the professor for permission, but I haven't decided how I want to handle that yet.
He says, yes, I mean, maybe she would just say yes, but I know that your people don't fully trust me, so.
They don't trust you, but she trusts me, so I'll think about it.
Alright, just let me know.
Very well.
Alright, poof back.
Kind of annoying.
That's what I always do.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow, thanks, Gray.
Okay.
What does Gray always do?
Ignore us because we're boring and annoying.
Phenomenal.
Gray.
because of Beldani and other things.
Oh, is Beldani still having? I'm guessing he's still having issues. He just popped.
Yeah,
out.
he couldn't hear us a moment ago.
Is he using his phone now? Is that why it sounds different?
I think his sound was coming through his computer instead of his headset, but I'm not sure if he knew it.
Okay.
Can you hear us now, David?
Perhaps not. Well, you can still keep working on it. But yeah, you get all that stuff done. Is the group ready to move on, or is there anything else you want to do here?
Once we get the information, ask our guide if he thinks we could use one of these underground rivers to bypass some of the Durgar.
I mean, it's possible, but I mean, these caves are numerous. I mean, it could take days exploring all these caves to look for a way in, and we could never find anything.
Weren't you the one asking if there was a good possible tunnel back here?
Oh, yeah, so he had asked that before. He was curious what else you found, and I'm assuming you told him about the water and everything.
Yes, it was him saying that made us think, hey, maybe we can find a way to bypass some Durgar this way.
He says it's possible, but it could take time, and I don't know how safe. You saw tunnels up there that we might use when you went to the back of the cave?
Not sure what we saw exactly. So I'll look to Beldani, who I'm not sure if can hear me, and then to Ivor. Do we know what's back there?
Is Beldani back? No, he's not.
I do not think so.
Okay. I actually don't know if I know what Beldani knows.
So I'll say Tinder may have told you because you were talking
Then,
to him a little.
I will relay my understanding of the cave system in that there are caves that go. Well, I don't know if caves is the right word or not, but there are these like slick passages that go in. Well, there's at least one slick passage that Beldani
Water
found that goes off in a
slides.
direction. Yeah, and then the other ones are there's like several other like water. Well, I guess that is. So all of them
Can
are
you hear us,
slick like
David?
the one that Beldani just found, right?
It's time for
I
some.
can.
It's time for
Awesome.
some Goonies. Oh, and he sounds like your normal voice again.
Yes, I don't know what.
Internet.
There have been a lot of technical issues this evening, and yeah, so. But I can hear you. I'm glad you can hear me. Hopefully, things will stay like this for the next hour or two.
Yeah.
And
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah. I would just describe to the group what we learned in there, like with these slick like water tunnels that maybe could go somewhere interesting, but maybe could be dangerous.
That just makes me want to go more. I do have Scroll Spider Climb, and I am good at exploring water for up to an hour.
Boulder
I'm
bottom. Go ahead.
I'm not sure we should let this divert us from our path. We have a perfectly good map.
I agree.
Yes, this might not connect to the map, at which point we'd just be spending possibly weeks splunking in this mountain.
I swear we're gonna slide down 2 slides and find some gold. And we're just saying, no, worth the looking.
Beldani, are you alright in there?
I'm fine. Climbing is not my strong suit, so I'm afraid that I would have to vote with the professor and Ivor on this one, Theo. I think maybe something we can come back to, but
I can use Spider Climb on you.
He says also just sliding down. Sliding down.
But we
a
don't
random,
want him stranded a distance from us.
Yes, and sliding down a random tube, we could get stuck in a flooded area and drown. I mean, it's not something you want to just close your eyes and jump into.
I can breathe underwater for a while.
Theo?
What?
You
Let's
can,
go.
but we can't.
True. I'm not saying y'all should jump into the dark unknown. More so just tie a rope and see if I scream.
Theo wants to go kill himself. We should allow him to go kill himself.
Just following Connie's example.
Vaitha finishes bundling up the last of the herbs we plucked and tosses them to Zalea and just starts leaving like, well, let's go.
Yeah.
Starts up the
Shove
ring.
them in the bag of holding and grab Theo by the elbow.
They'll never let
Come
me do
along,
the
Master
dangerous
Charlie.
things.
We
No.
do dangerous things as long as they don't think they're a waste of time.
Alright, so you climb back up the little slope you came down to get in here, back into the cold cave, which the chill of the mountain immediately comes back to you. And you head back out onto the cliffside to continue your ascent up the side. Give me a d20 roll.
All right.
Although I don't think you'll bump into anything else. Okay. So yeah, you get to a point after a lot of climbing around the edges of the mountain, where it seems like you come to the top of the cliff face, and there are a bunch of trees up here. In the distance, you hear what sounds like axes hitting wood. Someone is lumbering. And Boulder Bottom says, the Dwager might be close. I believe the giants said they had some kind of lumber party up here.
What's a lumber party?
It's a group of... It's how you get wood, he says a bit.
Doesn't sound like much of a party.
Lumberjacks, Donnie. You know what I meant.
Haha, I played a joke on you.
He says, how long does your spell last, Zalia?
Which spell is that?
The one that will disguise us.
Oh, all day really.
Ah, alright. Well, this might be when we want to put it on us, if we're going to try to sneak in. Although I'm guessing they're going to ask questions if they don't recognize us.
Right. So I just want to double check. I think seeming's 8 hours, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I will cast Seeming on us. Doing what I said I was going to do before, which is make Donnie look like a juvenile fire giant, so like, you know, pre-teenish. And the rest of us look like Drogar. Particularly Betha will look like a juvenile Drogar.
Okay. Go ahead and...
And I will, I will put Ivor in a little bit nicer of an outfit, more like a captain of the Drogar.
Yeah, you are making it to where you and him look like the spellcasting specific type of journal, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Don't like being made to look like a kid.
And then, remind me, Ian, does he have Dwarvish?
He does not.
Okay, I will also cast Tongues on Ivor.
Okay. How long does that last? An hour?
I think that it's an hour.
Yeah. Just because
Maybe hang on to that one till we get a bit closer.
Well, we can hear the sound of the axe hitting the wood, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
pretty close.
We're pretty close. So, yeah.
Alright, so Ivor has tongues and he looks different. Do you want me to enhance your persuasion?
Go ahead and link Seeming as well, if you cast that.
Okay.
Ivor, could you benefit from enhance ability?
Yes, I could.
Alright, I'll cast that on you.
Just souping me up. Just pump the man full of charisma and language.
That's what happens when you got some poor people in the group. You straight people like, nah.
Yeah. And I saw that that enhance ability rolled temp HP. Just to clarify, that was not the strength one, right?
Just rolls that
Correct.
automatically.
Okay.
Yeah, that
I was like, I don't want that one.
Alright, so you cast Seeming as well as the illusion takes hold and you all suddenly look very different.
Ali?
And I think this only goes away if it's dispelled, right?
Seeming?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can still do things in seam as opposed to like invisibility or something else.
Alright, so you cast could you link enhance ability as well? The description. Okay. So you cast the spells, you are concentrating on enhance ability. Go ahead and mark those in the time, and the group heads in.
Yes, sir, Bob.
Lead.
All right. So. You are coming through some trees as the sound of lumber work is getting much closer. You will come in on this part of the map. Just give me a moment. Oh, and it is it's getting towards evening, but it's still daytime. So let me give the map light. Daylight, it's evening, so not super bright. We'll go with 75%.
And what time is it?
It's a little after 6 when you get up the mountain. So it's
Great,
getting
so-
close to sunset, I believe.
Ivor has till a little after 7 to use enhanced ability.
Donnie. Just gotta turn off your dark vision because you don't need it yet. Professor.
He's
And-
blinding us.
Well, there's light outside, so you can still see. And Donnie. So yeah, there is definitely some lumbering going on somewhere up ahead. What do you want to do?
It's in our path, right? The way we were headed to go to the cave.
Do you grab the new token or the old token?
Oh, you know, I probably grabbed the old token. Let me grab
I was
that.
because it's showing the wrong HP. There we go.
Yep.
So the sound of wood, it's coming from the path we were taking already, yes?
Yeah, it's to the north of you.
Alright, let's
And
see
what
if
is
we
this?
wanna-
Sorry, I was away for a quick second. Is this just like an ice spire? Type
Well,
thing?
You're at the top. Well, you've been walking along the cliff up at the top. There's a bunch of trees everywhere up here, and you're
Mhm.
moving towards the sound of lumbering, which is coming from the north. Boulder Bottom, looking at the map, would say, "I believe that we're in the area. The cave should be just north of here. We should bump into the dweller soon. Be careful." And you do see a giant pile of snow over here.
Sorry,
So
that pile of
pile
snow
of
looks
snow.
suspect.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like it may have been moved because you notice the snow in this area is lower than some of the other areas, so it may have been moved to help people move around because there's also tracks everywhere, and it's not deep enough that this is difficult terrain now.
So it looks like shoveling, or it looks like the remores sort of pile.
Shoveling, probably
Alright.
probably shoveling, probably by the
Footprint.
dwarves. Yeah.
Alright.
So what do you want to do?
Well, we're all disguised. I say we continue on.
Very well.
Sounds good to me.
Do we want to take precautions to be as quiet as possible, or are we going to just march in?
I think if we take precautions to be quiet, it will make us more suspicious. If we try sneaking around, they're going to ask us why we're sneaking around. Unless, don't be suspicious. Unless we think we can simply sneak around and don't have to speak with them in the first place, that is also an option. Might be easier, actually.
I think if we were going to take the sneaky route, I would rather go ahead by myself, invisibly find out where they are, and then find a way where we could possibly avoid encountering them at all. If
It's
we
some
are
puzzler as well.
going to approach them, then I think approaching them like we belong here is our best bet.
I agree.
Should we have a cover story? I mean, if we are sneaking about, which we do intend to do, we have these disguises. Could we have a story, perhaps something? And I'll look at Ivor. Maybe this young frost giant has escaped. We don't want anyone to know.
Fire
so
giant.
We're trying to... Sorry, fire giant.
If you get that mixed up, we'll get squished.
Ah, yes, of course. and we're trying to sneak him back to his family so that he doesn't get into trouble. Something like that.
Frankly, I don't know enough about fire giant culture to know whether or not that's even a believable story. Something tells me that they rarely leave the mountain for any reason, and with a society as militant as we've been led to believe theirs is, I imagine that there may be something of a no-tolerance policy for something like that.
Could be a situation. Joe was kidnapped, but the family didn't want the shame brought on them, so they're trying to keep it quiet. If they find out, they're stopping us instead of letting
But
us through.
who kidnaps fire giants? I'm just curious.
Ice giants.
Perhaps he just
Uh.
wandered off. He was a bit mischievous, and that's why we're trying to keep it a low profile.
Donnie, can you act like you're a little bit daft in the head, not all there, missing some cards from the
Perfect.
deck?
Quite.
Does Donnie say anything? Also,
Donnie's
no, Donnie. Or go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I
I'm
was
not
gonna
alarmed
say,
at all about all the things that just went into chat.
Yes.
Nope.
I was gonna say also,
Yes.
Bell Donnie, did you see my message?
Yes,
Okay.
I just did. We might want to avoid to the west. There's something sleeping there that I think we do not want to disturb.
Well, if that's the case, then I say we make ourselves sneaky, if for no reason than avoiding that thing. And then
What's over there?
if we choose to approach the Dwergar openly, we can do so by way of sight anyway.
Indeed.
Belle, what's sleeping over there?
I have no idea. I can only tell you it sounds like snoring. I can't tell you what kind of snoring it is.
Alright, Betha, do you want to make us more stealthy while we get up there? Or is that something that people can notice that you're doing?
Alright, so you
Once
begin-
I've got it cast, I think it's relatively unnoticeable.
So
Oh.
Betha begins chanting, summoning nature energies as everyone within 30 feet of her suddenly stops leaving footprints and becomes much more quiet.
Yeah, I'll turn into Legolas.
Exactly.
Durgar Legolas.
Alright, let's proceed. Time's wasting.
Shall we head to the passage to the north?
I believe so.
Alright, so you're going northeast, kind of through the trees there. As you travel that way, you should start to see some things.
I
You
see
a-
perhaps another pile of snow.
Yeah, there's more snow, and you see a sheer rock cliff going up. Looks like the side of another part or the side of another part of the mountain over here.
Once I get to this point, I'll say, hold up. What
And
does that look like?
up ahead, you do see over here, as you kind of look around the corner, there is a fairly armored looking dwarf standing in the snow, kind of looking around, keeping an eye out, it looks like. He does have some kind of horn around his neck,
Okay.
bringing you back to older times.
Some of us, anyway.
Some of you, yeah.
Is he just one guard?
So far, you
So-
don't see the one.
Perhaps we could create a small distraction off to the west of him so that he might turn and take a few steps in that direction while we sneak by.
Well,
I could also
Uh,
envelope him in silence.
At this
If we get
point,
close
give
enough.
me a stealth check. You guys are kind of
Let's
close,
see.
so I'll need one for the whole group. You can't help each other.
At
I'd say it will,
disadvantage.
it will depend on how many of them there are.
But you do have plus 10. Yeah, you're all doing pretty well. Yeah, 28. and Donnie.
5. Or, oh. I don't know, how do I have to turn off private roles?
Oh, yep. Let me. So on your sheet, it's under the cog tab. It says,
Yeah, I found it.
you got
Never
it?
whisper
Okay.
rolls. Yeah.
You got it.
But, yeah, it was a 5.
So
So
15.
15's our lowest.
So far you're being pretty quiet, especially with all the noise being made by the lumberjacks. No one seems to have noticed you over here.
I see a second guard. So
Do we still have Rory's telepathic bond or no?
No.
Don't.
Oh, yeah, no, I thought I was going to recast it every hour, so yeah.
Yeah, if you recast it when you first got up here, it's probably about 6:20 at this point, so you have it for another 40 minutes.
Perfect.
Could I summon my wild companion to look just like one of the birds that we've seen in this area? Like whatever's native to this area?
I mean, you could do.
Like, I mean, there's several bird forms, I think,
So,
like hawk and
well, your
owl.
wild companions aren't necessarily animals; they're special spirits. I think they do still
Oh, I
have to
know.
be in one of the forms of a familiar. So I
I
think
know
you,
that, but like, if the hawk or the owl or one of the existing forms, like, could be recolored or whatever to like fit the
So
Arctic environment.
the hawk is actually, I think, native to the mountains. So you probably could summon a hawk, and that would look like something
Okay.
that should be here.
Does a hawk have like are its talons and like little feet like opposable enough that it might be able to like grab something and carry it if assuming it had the strength for it?
Yeah. I mean, they
Okay.
carry like, big like prey
Oh.
all the time.
All right,
Hang
I'm
on a
going
second.
to go ahead.
Let me see how my magical tinkering does. A non-verbal sound. Never mind. I was about to say, could cast magical tinkering on a rock, have your bird drop it, and say something to Durgar to get their attention.
So Ivor, this guy that you see here is cutting wood right now.
Dope.
I would like to, as quietly as possible, summon Chive as a hawk, and she's going to fly and kind of find a perch over on that rock face above them. Not terribly far, but
So
maybe
up
like
on
within
the
60
cliff?
feet. Yeah. Okay, the
Okay.
main thing I'm going for here is if one of them raises the horn at any point, she's gonna dive bomb and try and knock the horn out of their hands. That's all I'm going for. Just maybe it'll help, maybe it won't.
I mean, it's possible though. At that point, they probably already would have blown it. Like she can't do. She can't like as a reaction dive bomb them. Like if she won,
all right.
if she won initiative, she could do something. But there are also 2 guards there, and each of them have a horn.
All right, well, she's up there. I'll see if she comes in handy. I used
Okay.
one of my wild
Sure.
shapes. We'll see what happens.
So she flies up above, and you would see that there is a massive cave opening here that could probably easily fit giants through it. And Boulder Bond would whisper, "That's where we have to go."
So, with the telepathic bond talking through that, do we want to try and sneak by, or do we want to put Ivor up front and bluff our way through?
I'm all for bluffing.
I think it makes more sense to bluff. I think if we try to sneak by, one of them will surely blow the horn, and in that case, they could have a series of call points that go all the way down the cave system into the city, which would be literally the last thing that we want.
Agreed. Also, like, I think that being suspicious, even if they don't necessarily blow the horns, like they're gonna pay more attention to what we look like and what we're doing and every little thing when there's something already off about us, you know, if we're being sneaky or what have you.
Very well. The only, the bare bones of a story that I have is that we are escorting this fire giant juvenile back to the city. We don't know why he was out here. We don't know where he went. Keep it simple. If they get too curious, I'll
okay.
improvise.
If you get too curious, we cast silence and incapacitate them.
That's a good point.
There's the road.
Keep that on the back burner then, I suppose. That's not a phrase. Back burner.
There it is.
Not here. We don't have ovens.
It is for alchemy.
Oh, I guess that's true.
On the back fire pit.
Theo
There you
got
go.
it. Theo's like, I gotcha.
I got it. Very well.
I understood that reference.
Yep.
All right. Should we make a normal
to.
amount of noise then?
I think we should. There's no telling whether or not these spellcasters even know how to muffle sound in the way that we have done. So, if we are shown doing it, that may give us away.
Just proceed.
Do I need to drop my spell then, Lou? Is that how that would work?
If you want to get rid of Pass Without Trace, yeah, you can't like get rid of it temporarily.
Yeah, and it would be weird if I stayed 30 feet away from the rest of the group. So, okay, I'll drop it.
Wait, hold on. I don't know that you need to, because when we fail a stealth check, it's even with Pass Without a Trace up, so if we just make a bit of noise purposely, shouldn't
Well,
that...
Specifically, I think the thing that will alert them to the fact that we have something going is that we make no footprints at all.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
Boulder was about to say, we're not making any footprints. It looks a little weird.
Alright,
Actually, though, I think it was smart though, because they can't necessarily, like, if they were to try and like track where we came from after seeing us, like we've now covered that path.
Yeah, we popped out of it nowhere.
They just come back here. It's like you guys popped out of the floor suddenly.
Yep.
We are nature's wrath come for you.
Alright, let's go then, quickly.
That's.
All right,
I'm
so,
right behind you, Ivor.
So, Betha, you are canceling the spell. Okay.
Affirmative.
Yes.
So you come out of the tree line there. The guards immediately look over, seeing you. A couple of the wood cutters stop as well, eyeing you as you walk out. You do look a little bit different from them, just in. Well, you're not wearing the exact same uniforms as them, but no one seems to be blowing a horn or like charging you. They just kind of watch you as you approach.
Over the mine lake, Ivor potential thing. We're from a smaller colony. Bring kid to this one.
Perhaps. We'll see how it goes. That's a good suggestion.
May stay close.
In the
So,
way that I...
the dwarf
Oh, go
kind
ahead.
of he kind of rests his hand on the pommel of his blade, almost like instinctively, as the group approaches, and maybe sways back and forth a bit, watching you.
Which guy's that? This guy?
Yeah, the guy on this side. The guy on this side is watching as well, but he's more just standing around.
Okay. Not knowing one way or the other about any sort of custom, my intention is to simply walk between them like I'm supposed to be here, unless
Lou,
they
with
say so.
knowledge of dwarves and stuff, would I know if there's any customs that we could do to fit in more?
I mean, there's a salute you could do.
I'd do that salute and try and describe it to Ivor through the mine leak.
I will try to do that salute as well then.
Give me
I
a
will.
deception check.
Amazing.
Because you've not done this before and you're kind of winging it.
And this is... Thank God for Eagle Splendor, huh?
Alright, so you salute him, he sort of nods to you. He says in Dwarven, and where are you coming from, huh? Shouldn't you be out cutting the trees down with the rest of them? What's all this about?
Did I see any of the other guys? Are any of the people cutting trees spellcasters? Or
Doesn't look like it.
Okay.
They have, so these two are armed better, and they have armor on. Those guys do have swords, or short swords, but they don't have any armor on. Looks like they're more there to be like lumber workers.
okay.
Understanding that magic users would be higher in the hierarchy.
I think we did know that, yes. So what I will say in response in Dwarven is, well, first of all, cutting wood is something that I've never done and I never intend to do. Second of all, we were on a special mission to bring this young fire giant back, and that's why we borrowed these these other companions.
So,
And
I
I'll
don't,
gesture
I'll
to
just
everybody who's not a spellcaster.
I'll just grunt as I grab Donnie's arm.
all right. So he looks at you curiously. He says, "Fire giant. Where did he come from? I didn't heard anything about no fire giant missing."
Well, we don't all hear everything, but I'll let you in on a secret. He thought that he would run off on his own and try to contest some frost giants. He did well-ish, but it was good we found him when he did, or perhaps he would have made an ass of himself.
I will laugh.
Give me a deception check.
Nice.
Says, well, it's probably good you caught him then. He says, so I'm guessing you got special permittance to go through then, to go down past the lumber camps into the city proper.
That is correct.
He nods and says, well, just make sure you signal the giants in there, because it's supposed to be off limits and they might think you're enemies. Apparently something's going on that has the giants on edge. I think there's been some attacks further down, but we're not sure what they're not sure what attacked. So just be cautious. The fire giants are on high alert, and they might just throw boulders at you without asking questions. Because last I checked, we weren't even allowed to go down. We're just supposed to camp in the lumber encampment, getting more wood for a few days while they figure things out.
Very interesting. So there are no other dwarves below the lumber camp as of the current state of things?
He says, well, there are some down in the city, but none in the mines, the passages that go through down to the city. Everyone's either in the lumber camps or up here doing work.
That's good to know. If we see anything in the caves, we'll deal with them first and ask questions later then. Unless, of course, it is a fire giant, in which case we'll attempt to tell our story first before they attack us.
Yeah, well, like I said, they're on high alert, so just be careful.
Over the mind link to Ivor, do you think you can finagle if it's just regular salute, or we're supposed to signal a different way?
That would be my next question. This, well, shit. He probably would. We would probably know that if we're supposed to go down there, so if I ask, I think he will get suspicious.
Is this just between the two of you, or can we all hear it?
So he sees you kind of delaying a sec. He says, everything all right? You going in, or...?
I was going in. The question that I have for you is this. Just as a result of the tenuous relationship with the fire giants currently, has there been any update to the signal that we use with them, or is it the same as it was?
Give me a deception check. Well, generally, you just want to make sure you're close enough so they can see you. The hallways are dark, so with the fire, or I should say with the lack of fire and light, they might throw things at you in the shadows if they think you're an enemy. If you speak the Dwarven tongue, they'll probably listen first. As long as you're supposed to be there, I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Understood. Thank you very much. One final question, though.
Says,
yes.
Actually, I was going to ask you, did you come from the south?
What direction do we come from, actually? East?
Well,
I guess relative to here, we came from the south.
Yeah.
In fact, we did, yes.
Did you see Ember down there by chance?
We did not see Ember, but we heard it. It's around.
Do you know where it was? I was going to send someone to go look for it.
Last time we heard it, it was, and I'll turn around and point approximately south by southwest.
He nods. He says, all right, I'll just have someone go take a look later, make sure it's all right.
Over the mind link, what the fuck is Ember?
Before we go, I did have one final question for you. Did you have any sort of? Have you heard any rumors about what sort of troubles are going on with the fire giants? Or is it just that there is something going on when we don't know what?
Says no. We were up here getting lumber as we were supposed to over the week, and a messenger came saying no one's to go down, and that anyone going down might get hit with a boulder. So we're just supposed to stay up here for a few weeks. But
Understood.
if you came up through there, then I'm guessing they know to look for you. Assuming
I certainly hope so.
Yeah. Assuming you're supposed to go down, it might be safer if you want to take the young lad and just keep him in the lumber camp in the cave for a few days. Just go down when the all clear is given.
We'll think on it.
He nods.
Thank you very much, and I'll give him a nod.
Says,
I'll
"Yep,
also nod.
I'll see you down there." So you're heading in.
Yep.
All right. So you successfully.
So Betha's doing her best to like emulate like since she's like an adolescent like Drugar, her disguise. She's doing her best to emulate like the kid who's on his first mission and is like trying really hard not to screw up, and she gives like the salute and everything.
Gives you kind of a funny look. Says, "Ain't you a bit young to be up here?"
She'll reply in Dwarven that, I don't know, what's the Dwarven age of maturity? Would she know that? Never mind. Okay, she won't. She'll just nod and look nervous,
Oh,
like intentionally nervous,
do
like a
speak
youth
Dwarven,
would in
right?
this. Oh yeah, she does.
Okay, so yeah, you know that's what he said.
But yeah, like she would just like look nervous the way a kid in that situation might look nervous and like try to kind of straighten her spine and like look like a soldier.
He laughs at you. He says, "Get out of here, kid." Alright, so you enter the tunnel. You see a bunch of logs on the very inside as you go in. It looks like a bunch of resources piled up here. Further in, there's some more tents. Looks like some barrels, supplies in general, axes, picks, all sorts of things that one might need out in the mountain. And there is a cave behind it. Boulder Bottom says, "I believe it's this way." Good job, by the way. Well done.
Thank you very much, although much of the credit is due to the combined efforts of Zaylee and Theo as well. And for everyone else for knowing how to act.
Okay. Why don't we do a quick break since we're at 7:30 for stretch and restroom, and then we can continue.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Time for a monster, cause I'm gonna beat up so late.
Oh yeah, you're East Coast, right?
Mountain. I just have
Mountain
to
time.
work on a project. It's a project week for phase 3, so I'm just trying to, and it's our first solo project, so I'm really trying to make it a killer.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
See, DM Matt is running his first game.
Nice.
Hope it's going well.
I hope so. I was a little worried because he was having problems finding people. Then we just found like 5 all at once, so we decided to
Nice.
start up.
I mean, I think that's kind of how it was for you to begin with, as well as just like it was kind of like one person at a time. I see I see the game openings for the other DMs, and they like very slowly but surely have additional people in them.
Yeah, it takes a while to build up a group.
Yep. Oh, Rat's got.
Tomorrow's our first time with the new guy,
Here.
right?
By
Oh,
the
yeah.
way, having a fantastic time with Rat. He is.
He
really
is-
great.
Fucking outstanding. It's
That's good.
he's definitely like on the high generosity, high fuck you bandwagon.
Oh
Like,
yes.
Here's a bunch of toys. Also, everybody else has toys, so that's wild.
And be careful
Our
of this
last
trauma
session-
monster that has been made from
Yeah.
Bell's backstory that will just
Yeah.
Our
power
last
and kill
session
somebody.
was basically just all RP of PTSD. It was amazing.
Oh yes.
There was so much. If you look at PTSD in the dictionary, there's a recording of that fucking game.
Well, I think when I get enough DMs, I might encourage everyone to do like a DM game, just so we can see each other's styles.
Yep.
Because I think
That'd
it would
be
be a good learning experience for all the DMs to see how the different DMs run games.
Yeah. It looks like he's got one going on Friday as well. Good for him.
It seems very much the type like, oh yeah, I'll give you what you ask for, but it's gonna get you too,
It's gonna
and you're gonna love it getting you.
Yeah, I think he has 4 games now.
Oh, nice.
He has
Still-
a Monday Strahd game, a Wednesday, and 2 Fridays.
Very
I'm
cool.
Very
hoping
nice.
he picks up some of the new players, but he seems like he's been hesitant to start any more games. So I think he's got a lot going on right now.
I was just
Yeah.
disappointed that the DMs that came along after you and Rat didn't continue the tradition and name themselves after a tiny familiar in D&D.
Yeah, what the hell is this? Got DM Raven, DM Rat. What the hell is a Grizzix?
Raven was just sort of the name I've always used for DMing. It wasn't actually supposed to be about a familiar. Oh, I'm gonna
Oh,
be
yeah,
right back.
no,
I'm gonna-
Obviously, I was joking. It's just when you first brought Rat on, I was like, oh, it's started a tradition. Now all the DMs need to be named after a familiar.
Yeah, no, they can name themselves whatever.
Shoot, become a DM large Luigi.
Large Luigi.
He's in the new Spelljammer book. I'm so happy, but I'm so mad at the new Spelljammer books.
DM Matt Mercer. DM Jeremy Crawford. Just to mess
Oh.
with people. You're not
DM
Jeremy Crawford. How do you know?
Who's the other guy from College Humor? Brendan Mulligan. There we
Brinley
go.
Mulligan?
Yep.
Yeah, that. Oh. If
Is
I
that-
ever do get into DMing very hard, that's gonna be like one of the big
Alright, I'll be
people I
right
try
back.
and look up to.
Yeah.
Hey, shit's. Oh, Belle, we can't hear you.
I've just been watching some of the latest Dimension 20 A Court of Fae and Flowers.
How are you liking it?
I'm enjoying it. I've just watched the first episode, so it's just getting started. But the sort of court intrigue is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to like vie for who's gonna woo the most eligible bachelor,
And they're like, it is both trying to get dates and stuff, and also genuine political things going in the background.
yes.
Favorite
And
character?
I mean, I don't know. My favorite character is probably the Prince of the Unseelie Court.
Yes, Pillar Boy.
Yes, Pillar Boy.
He is amazing.
What is this that you're talking about?
Dimension 20 Court of Fae and
Oh.
Flowers.
That thing I went crazy being like, you really should watch this, it's amazing.
I know, but I'm not even up to date with Critical Role. I just don't go. I don't drive enough anymore.
With
I've seen a few clips of different campaigns with Brendan Lee Mulligan. Is this the one where there's like a black lady who wears like leaves around her head?
Yes,
Abra
that's
Isengard.
Abria Iyengar.
Awesome. Is
Yeah.
she the DM in that one?
She
Yeah.
is the DM.
Okay. It was the first time I had ever seen Brendan Lee Mulligan be a player, I think.
He's,
From
an
all the
amazing player.
clips that I've seen of him anyway.
yeah, I think he's played in one other Dimension 20 campaign, but he's typically the DM for all of them.
He's played in a couple of the campaigns as a player. It's pretty much if Abra DMs, he's going to be a player. And he's done a lot of being a player in things for like the D&D YouTube channel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Their games they put on, Beyond puts on, he'll be players in those. He makes the most insane characters.
Was she
I
the
saw-
DM for Exandria Unlimited too?
Yes.
He was.
I
clip-
like her
other
more
than-
in Dimension 20s.
I saw a
was
clip
going to say,
either-
other than Calamity, which Brennan DM'd.
Also highly recommend. Sorry, Ian.
Oh, you're good. That's online chat. That'll happen. I saw a clip. It was either today or yesterday of that game where, like, somebody. Fuck, I don't even remember what was going to happen, but somebody was going to cast a spell, and doing so would have like revealed that they could cast. I don't understand the context, but they were going to cast a thing, and then some other dude cast like enhance ability on them, and then somebody else cast Gift of Gab on that guy, so nobody knew any magic was happening. It was a crazy thing.
That I can't say too much about it because don't want to. Yeah, but I highly recommend watching that show. It's definitely worth $5 a month or $6 a month to subscribe to them, and they have a bunch of free stuff on YouTube, like Escape from the Blood Keep. It's Brennan doing a game that's a play on Lord of the Rings, and Matt Mercer is a player in that. He's playing one of the ring wraiths, pretty much.
Right there.
Except he's fabulous.
The whole thing is with Escape from the Blood Keep is that they're playing all the villains of the story.
It's
Amazing.
wonderful, and so much friendship.
New character concept, Ring Wraith.
Boy, here we go.
I just finished a character concept. I gotta do a new one.
I highly recommend watching that series. It's free on YouTube. The way Matt went about it is amazing.
Nice.
I started subscribing to Dropout for actually.
Yes.
That game show is right up my alley.
What do you think about Game Changer?
I've only watched a couple episodes, which have been funny, but I just haven't gotten into it.
The one with Brennan, Lou, and Izzy? Brennan's fiance? 100% you need to watch it. I think it's like close. It's a beginning of the latest season, or end was a Survivor series. Also, seeing Brennan in a Survivor series. Oh. Him, very like, no, it's not about winning. I just can't lose. Those are highly recommended. Definitely should give him a watch.
I also love the clips that I see on him. I mean, from College Humor, they're all great, but especially I've seen it a few times now. This one where like they're up late working and they have like 2 minutes to order something before the Chinese restaurant closes. What a fucking gem!
And they start going through just random places, and Brennan's like, "Yeah,
I haven't looked at a menu in 20 years."
He's good at playing that slightly unhinged level.
Yeah.
And Fantasy High has one of my favorite NPCs of all of existence. Aberforth. David, I don't know if you've watched Fantasy High or not.
I have not.
You will see my favorite character of anything ever in that. And you'll be able to tell why I love him so much very quickly.
Your favorite character isn't Bolo from Calamity?
She's top 5 at least, and she secretly betrayed her.
Fern from
Man, I can't say things on Fern right now because spoilers, but man.
Yeah, I haven't watched College Humor in like 8 years.
They got a bit of a resurgence. I highly recommend them.
Mostly it's because of Brennan Lee Mulligan, not gonna lie.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah, I watched those like in the earlier days of the internet.
Yep.
That and Sam, whatever his last name is, really good at producing the shit.
Is that the guy who has like black hair and really short black hair, and he's kind of like actually I think does he also play D&D with them?
He's played in one campaign with them so far. It was a murder mystery campaign. Mice and Murder, fucking wonderful, except for one part that makes me really mad.
I know it was really funny back in the day. I used to watch it a lot. Viva La Dirt League is really good. If no one
I fucking love People in Dirt. Oh my god.
That's been my recent obsession.
Have you seen the one about Tarkov? I mean, actually, they have a couple, but about producing Tarkov.
Which one was Tarkov?
Tarkov is like a survival shooter.
The rage game.
Yeah, apparently it's really hard for all sorts of reasons, but yeah, I highly recommend watching the Viva La Dirt League video.
I have seen those. Are the ones where like they go in the game and they just keep dying and have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah,
I think I have seen a couple of those episodes. Yeah.
There's one specifically about like the producers having a meeting in the game. It's fucking hilarious. I recommend it.
All right. But anyway, I think we.
Can you link that to me?
No. I will find it later and link it though.
All right.
Yeah, not League? Yeah. It's a pretty good series. But anyway, so you are in the cave. you have walked past the tents and the supplies. Oh, excuse me. Heading deeper into the mountain.
And is that the tents and supplies that we just noticed? Do we believe that that is the lumber camp that they were talking about?
Yeah, so you also see there are a bunch of Dweger there. Looks like maybe people who had finished their shifts. They're having some food. There's I don't know if there'd be a campfire going in the mountain itself. Maybe there would be. It's a big cave. So yeah, there's some like fires going near the entrance where they're cooking food. A couple of them would give you nods as you walked in.
Okay.
But yeah, there's probably a good 30 to 40 Dweger here.
Okay.
Can
Quite
you
a few.
remind me on the map itself? We had to go past this point. I know we were turning off before we got to the city, but we had to go past this point before we got to the tubes or whatever, right?
Yeah, so you have to go through here. If you ask Boulder Bottom, because he's kind of navigating, he probably wouldn't say now, but he'll say, we are on track. Yes, this is the right way.
Is he part of our mind link?
Yes.
Is he? Can you link
Yeah.
that, Megan?
Yeah, I can link all of us and him. Not
But
I
The
couldn't get-
Chevreau's the only one
Not
who.
Chevro.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's a 7. Oh, Chevro.
Does Chevro speak Dwarven?
No, he's just been walking
Oh,
along.
poor
nodding.
dude. Oh,
He
God.
has no idea what's going on. He's just like,
Anybody
yep,
talks to him, he's like,
yep.
I don't know what to tell them, and nobody knows what to tell me.
Chevreau knows stick by artificer, buddy.
Yeah.
I gotta-
Chevro just nods at everything.
One
Yeah.
quick thing before we change maps. She would wait 5 minutes or so it doesn't look like she's following the party, but at some point Chive would duck into the cave and try to follow us, but Yeah.
So
A mountain hawk is going to duck into the cave and
Yeah.
follow a bunch of Dweger.
I was gonna say it at least would be fairly obvious if she flew in the cave.
all right, never mind. She goes poof.
She could try it, but
I'll
30.
Bird, like,
you know, like
And they
I
if you ever had,
forgot.
like,
I forgot I can dismiss and call her back. Okay, I'll dismiss.
Oh
her.
yeah.
yeah.
I was gonna say 30 Dweger who've never seen a hawk fly into the mountain before are gonna be
Well,
like, "What the fuck is that bird doing?"
Yeah, it'd be like if you're in your like living room and like a ray or like a bird just flies into your living room. You're like, what the?
Well, okay.
she
I've
just
been
lands in front of the cave and then sidesteps her way in.
I've been,
Hops
I've
in.
been in houses and buildings when birds happen to enter
Yeah.
accidentally, so I don't
A
think
house?
it makes it.
Yeah.
I don't think
No,
it
I
makes
know,
know, sure, but
Yeah.
I don't think it makes
cave.
it
Big old cave.
suspicious. Okay, I don't know. Anyway, all right.
All right, so yeah, but you dismiss her.
I mean, what
and-
is a Walmart but a big old cave, and they're in there all the time?
Yeah, it probably happens by accident, but if they all see this,
No, that's
bird-
fine.
Yeah.
I
okay, anyway.
forgot I could dismiss.
birds
her,
on
so
a
I
mission,
will.
just like following. Like,
Lou, roughly what time did I summon her?
You summoned her at about 6:45.
And actually,
Thank
I'm a
you.
liar. Chevreau is in the bond. It's 8.
All right. So then, yeah, that would be just enough. All right. So
Perfect.
he feels a little bit more secure. So yeah, you're going deeper into the caves. There are more Dweger over here. As you get towards the back, there is a cave that kind of goes downward, and you see a couple of guards there, or at least Dweger guys sitting around. They see you approaching, and one of them says, "You're not supposed to go any deeper. That was orders from the fire giants down below."
Yes, we've heard as much. We had a mission to go retrieve this young fire giant from a rather overly confident adventure to prove himself to some frost giants. We have just to go down and drop him off with the fire giants, and then we'll probably be told to come back up.
So as the others, they seem a little bit intimidated by the young fire giant and just kind of nod and say, "All right, well, just be careful down there. They might, you don't want to get crushed by any errant boulders."
Will do. If we don't make it back, assume that they weren't happy with us.
Says, "Yeah, well, good luck." They just
Thank you.
go back to just hanging out there. All right, so you go
Yeah,
down. Or go ahead.
Sorry. Via the mental bond, I'm going to point out that it does sound like these fire giants are even more fond of boulders than the corrupted frost giants were.
Well, to be honest, they probably have more boulders.
Good point.
Alright, so you're going down into these cave areas, heading downwards. Boulder Bottom's looking at the map. He says, "Alright," in his mental link, we should be on track. It looks like we're going into a mine shaft area now. It doesn't look like there's a straight shot into the city, so we're gonna have to go through the mines a bit. That's probably where they're, according to what was said, where the enemies and where the fire giants might be. So we should be vigilant.
Perhaps this would be the time. Perhaps this would be the time to be quiet.
Indeed. I thought we were going to avoid the city.
Yeah, I thought we were going to pop out in the southern forge area and be able to bypass the city.
Aye, well, the southern forge area is part of the city. It's just we will be avoiding the main part of the city, which would be the middle. So yes, we're mostly avoiding the city, just having to cut through the edges of it to get to the lava tubes.
Well, lead on. And yes, I think Ivor was correct. Auntie, if you wouldn't mind.
So he goes into a large open cave area. Lots of marks on the floor indicate a bunch of people have come through here. Give me Boulder Bottom says, Auntie, do you want to give me a hand with these maps again? Because I guess he's been calling you Auntie as well. Oh, you're casting.
Except I imagine he says it like the dwarven word or something, like he's like picked it up from Zalia but adopted it. Or adapted it.
Yeah. Alright, so you cast Pass Without Trace, making the group quieter again and hiding your tracks. And Survival of 19.
Ignore the 10 on the survival check, sorry.
Yeah, I assumed. Alright, so you're going through the cave areas. It does look like a lot of these have been mined out and maybe converted into makeshift passageways. As you're traveling, Beldani, and actually probably most of you would hear large footfalls coming from somewhere up ahead in the darkness. What do you
Yeah,
I do.
How wide are these passages?
Shall I sneak up ahead and see what's coming? I can come back and give us a little bit of warning.
that sounds smart to me.
Okay. These passages are quite large. They vary between usually 15 and 20 feet wide and about 20-ish feet high, probably about as high as a giant would need to move through them.
Are they pretty clean, or are there like a boulder here and some rubble there?
There's a lot of ice in them. Icy patches have been making it difficult to walk over certain areas because you have to kind of be careful.
I meant more like cover where, like, if we wanted to make sure that something that was going to pass us wouldn't like step exactly where we are, would be kind of like let's kind of huddle by this boulder or what have you.
Yeah, there's a couple of places you could hide if you wanted to, especially being smaller.
Okay.
That, and if you just gotta head and see some fire giants heading directly towards us, if we can't avoid them, got rope trick.
Okay.
Oh, good idea, yeah.
I'll be right back. And so I am gonna sneak ahead, using my bonus to double my movement. But doing so stealthily.
Alright.
Mind Link continues to work as long as we're on the same plane.
Yep.
Yeah, I believe
That's
so.
an amazing spell, actually.
Is it mind link or telepathic bond?
Telepathic bond.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as
Sorry, I
we
wasn't
stay
sure
on the
which
same
one.
plane of existence.
Yeah, and you're casting that as a ritual, right? Every hour? Okay. So, yeah, you move into this area, and I'll show you where you come in.
Should we pull ourselves out, or are you?
I thought Beldani was scouting, right?
Oh, he's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want, you can all come, but I assumed he was going alone.
Oh, that's okay. I will let him do his thing.
So there's definitely rumbling coming from up ahead, Beldani. You see a large ice patch. You've seen a bunch of these as you're moving through. Probably areas where water leaked from somewhere and just froze up.
All right, so I'm gonna head forward where I see this fork. And can I tell if the sound is coming from the north or the west?
Give me a perception check as you try to hone in on where exactly the sound is. It is probably coming from the north, the eastern path.
All right.
Although you don't have the map, so you're not sure which way the group has to go.
Indeed, I do not know. So I will continue. I'll make head towards the western wall and continue up to the passage.
Alright, so as you get there, you see movement coming down the hallway. Give me a stealth check.
All right. And would my boots give me advantage on this, or is it sound and sight? Given
It
that
would
it's
be-
dark, I'm assuming.
It would be sound and sight.
All right, so then just a regular roll.
Okay, so a large creature comes into view, taking a look around. It looks like this. Oh, actually, one moment. Apologies. To reveal a little bit more.
I can't see it, so I'm going to assume it's a Tarask.
No, I just haven't revealed it yet.
Well, whatever it is, will be a pleasant surprise now.
No, Cerberus.
Okay, there we go. Alright, so
Aw,
it looks
I want a baby
like
Cerberus.
this.
That could be
Fluffy.
Base's new mount now that.
So-
We're going to have
Alright.
to, like, hand off Donnie.
You see, there's large footsteps as this, like close to 15 or so foot tall creature comes walking down the passageway. It doesn't seem to notice you, luckily, as it stops, kind of looks to the south a bit, scans the area, and yells north something in giant. And then it starts going this way.
Loud enough I would have heard it.
What's your perception?
11? Not high.
You heard something, you're not sure
Sorry,
what it was.
14. 14.
Oh,
Better than
14?
I thought.
Yeah, alright. Yeah, you think you heard sort of a bit, kind of low, but it sounded like someone yelled clear and giant. Though somewhere else in this place. But anyway, he goes
Kinda-
stomping off to the east.
Say if you're past the clink, he's a scout, clearly doing a patrol.
Let's remember that word, and we can yell it when we want people to think that the way is clear.
Do I hear any more footsteps coming? I hear the footsteps from that giant I just saw disappearing down to the east, but to the northeast, do I hear any more footsteps approaching?
No, you don't hear anything from the northeast.
And do I hear anything from the northwest?
Oh wait, sorry. You don't hear anything from the northwest. I guess you can't see very well in the darkness. He came from up
He came
here
from the northeast
and then went
and
over
then-
this way.
headed east, it
Yeah.
looked like.
You could barely see him at the edge of your dark vision because he was still pretty far away. Yeah, you don't hear any noises coming from the northwest.
Do I hear any more footsteps coming from this direction, the northeast, the passage that he came from?
Give me an active perception check.
Sure.
So you might hear something, but it's a bit off in the distance to the northeast.
I will think to the group, but specifically address Boulder Bottom. Which way are we supposed to go at the next fork? Northwest or
He
northeast?
starts looking through the map. He says, it looks like northeast. There's going to be a turn up ahead, and we're going northeast.
There are giants, or at least there was a giant that came from that direction. He's moved on, but I think there are still a few, at least one left up in that direction. I'm not sure they're coming this way any further, though.
Oh, and if you have nature training, in case anyone wants some reading, you would know the stuff that's written in the giant. Thing.
Crap.
Wait, what?
If
You
you
said
wanna,
Can you share it?
yeah, if you have training in nature, you might know. You'd probably know the flavor stuff written about the fire giant that I linked. So,
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you share it again?
It should be in the journal if you look in the
Is it?
journal.
I was reading about how the different giant races are kindred with each other, or like basically stay friendly, and I'm like, oh, not in this world.
I don't know what world that would be true in. There's some of them are inherently evil and some of them are inherently good.
Yeah, the higher
Wow.
giants, like the cloud giants and the storm giants, they have alliances, but like fire and winter or ice are not generally friendly with frost.
Well, I closed the window, but like I was skimming, and I thought I saw a bit that said that they generally like have an affinity towards each other.
I
was
don't know
like,
how
oh.
that's possible. Hill giants are a
Usually-
bunch of dicks.
Hill giants fucking blow.
Yeah, hill giants are just assholes.
Usually it is a situation of giants don't step in other giants' territories and stuff like that, but Frost and Fire have been known through lore to fight each other.
Yeah, but yeah,
That's
if
because
you
there's a
look,
lot of volcanoes in the winter mountains.
if you look under opponents' giants, you should see. Well, any of the things I've ever linked are going to appear in there if you want to do some reading. But for giants, if you have nature, your characters would probably know that stuff.
That
I
Theo
was
regaled
reading-
us with giant lore the last time
Uh-huh.
this came up.
Yeah, certainly something he could talk about around the campfire later. But Beldani, what do you want to do?
Well, I say back to the group, I'm like, they seem to be searching to see if the tunnels are clear. But we're definitely heading in their search pattern direction. I think maybe if we wait 5 minutes or so and then continue on our path, we should be clear.
Master Boulderbottom, I have the ability to make a door 5 feet by 5 feet. Is there anywhere where it would be advantageous for us to do that and perhaps create a shortcut?
He says a door? What do you mean?
I can open a hole in the stone through which we could pass.
Oh, how far could we go through the stone?
5 feet by 5 feet. At a time.
Oh,
I can
you
do
mean
several, but
he says you mean in the tunnels? Let me see. And he starts looking. Nothing nearby in these caves, though there might be something later in the lava tubes that might work well for.
alright, we'll keep it in mind.
I also have a window in my pocket if we see any walls 2 feet or less.
Throw out your window.
Yeah! Got that, got a 10 by 10 pit in my pocket. Got a boat.
I'll just think to the group. I'm going to continue ahead down the passage that is our path and see if I can see if the way is clear now or if there is indeed some giant still remains.
Should we head towards the fork and wait for you there, or stay back this way?
I think you can head to the fork and wait. If Auntie's quiet magic is still in effect.
It is indeed.
Alright.
Alright, so where should we bring our things to?
I'm gonna disaberrate Nettle.
I can pull you on if you're headed. So you are coming up to this area?
Yep, we got the all clear up to the...
Alright, I'll pull you on at the
Split.
bottom. Theo. Professor.
I exist again.
And new Donnie.
Dun dun.
Okay. So, Donnie, you are headed up the eastern passage.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow this northeastern passage.
Okay. Give me one moment to look at something.
Sure.
Got it. Okay. So go ahead and start moving.
I'm just gonna again follow the western wall.
Oh, does one of you have a light source out?
We can all see in the
I
dark.
was just gonna ask you if you could add dark vision to my token
You've
now that
got
I have
goggles,
goggles.
yeah.
Yeah, I should.
Okay.
Yeah, I just see darkness. Yeah.
All right. Give me one moment, Donnie. Let me give them dark vision.
You get dark vision. You get dark vision.
Actually, I was
You
about
all
to
get
drag
dark.
the torch so that I didn't have to interrupt, but then someone else brought it up.
Fire giants can see in the dark, right? And the Duergar obviously
Yes.
Yeah.
can. So we'd be pretty sus if we were walking around with torches.
Probably. Who else needs dark vision?
Thank you.
I think I already have it.
I think you have the rest of you have it. Okay.
I think I was the last one to get
yeah.
goggles.
Yeah, I probably should just add it to your token. So you do see these massive, like 10-foot wide rails. You imagine they're huge mine carts at some point.
Oh, we could ride one.
I hear Theo think that, and then I'm just like, no, the tracks are broken in places. I think it would be.
No, these are functioning. These are just me not able
Oh,
to draw the tracks well. Because it was hard to make them fit there.
So we could ride one.
Probably
If everything goes completely horrible, moving cover at least.
so I'm just, like I said, following this wall, seeing, sneaking along, trying to listen to see if the sound that I heard is getting any closer.
Okay. It does sound like it's getting closer now as you move up this hallway. As a large figure comes into view moving along the railway.
Everyone hide.
I'm gonna do rope trick.
It looks like this. A large
Shimmy, shimmy,
imposing
shimmy, shimmy.
figure
Up
with
the rope.
two flaming or very hot-looking shields walks towards you, Beldani. Give me a stealth check.
Right.
I assume you're going to get behind some rocks.
Oh yes.
Not as big as the one chieftain that you fought, but certainly this guy is very tall. So yeah, you duck behind some rocks as the large, imposing figure. And actually, he would have a bit of a glow to him because his shield is burning a bit. So I'll give him some low light.
Which one?
Both of them.
Based on the photograph, he's got more than one shield.
So yeah, small amounts of light are coming off both shields as he walks past you, Beldani. Does not seem to notice you. He is going to come down this way. And did you say you all were doing a rope trick down here?
Yeah, I did rope trick to give us somewhere to hide.
Okay, so you're climbing up into the rope. Now the rope, does you pull it up and then you're just invisible in there, or you're in an extra dimensional space, right?
It's an extra dimensional space. We can see through the bottom like we have a window, but they can't see in.
Oh, but you can't see out. Like you can just see down.
No, we can.
We can angle and see her, but we can see out of it downwards. Yeah, but we're in.
So you can see
through.
below. You can't see like outward into the tunnel, basically, because you're kind of in an extra dimensional space, but you can only see down and out. Okay, so you hear big footsteps. Yeah.
If I see people climbing the rope, I'm actually going to probably like jump on Theo's back or something, so one less person to climb. Like I'll just go up with him.
You would probably hear some footsteps out in the cave as something is moving around. And I know you can see it on the map, but just pretend you can. And you hear it move off. Seems like it's going down the tracks a bit.
Telepathically to the team. This does not seem ideal. That's 2 giants in the space of 5 minutes.
What did you expect? We're going through a giant area. There's going to be giants.
You
Alright.
think-
It moved to the northwest following the tracks. So if we're heading to the northeast, now maybe our chance to move ahead while it's heading the opposite direction.
Very well. If is at Beldani's recommendation, I will pop out of the rope trick and begin moving again.
Yeah, same.
Alright, so
I
roll-
think we're doing okay given the fact that we've had, like you said, Zalia, encounters we weren't expecting, but so far so good. Let's just be careful.
Indeed.
I
Okay.
think I came on with the wall.
Can you guys see my
Oops.
aura in this light?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I know it's barely there, but
Pretty.
Alright.
Come on, little fire giant.
So up ahead, Beldani, you would hear voices, like someone might be talking.
But I don't recognize the language.
No, it sounds like it might be giant, because you've heard giant so much these last few days.
Once I get to this point, I'm gonna ask Beldani in my head: tracks or no tracks?
Tracks, but I'm still hearing a giant talking up ahead. Let me move forward and see what I can see, and I'm gonna move about another
All right,
20 feet.
Give me stealth check.
All right.
when you say tracks or no tracks, do you mean like, do you want us to leave tracks?
No.
No.
No,
Oh, sorry.
asking if we should
Okay.
follow the tracks.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Oh, the train. Okay, gotcha.
So
I
very
wasn't sure if you wanted to ask.
very quietly you move up ahead, and you would see 2 more fire giants, one here and one here, and it looks like they're talking to each other in low voices, but you don't know what they're saying.
Hold where you are. There are more giants. I'm sorry. And I will try and sort of repeat in my head what I'm hearing them say phonetically to Donnie.
Nice.
Trying to translate.
Well, and does Ivor still understand giant at the moment?
He's not working.
No, it's well. Even if it was getting repeated in our heads, it's been more than an hour since tongues. I think.
It has been. Okay, that was my question. Yeah. All right.
So you're not sure exactly what Beldani is repeating to you. It sounds like some complaining. It sounds like these giants might be talking about wanting to find some action with all the attacks. They sound bored, though it's not a perfect translation.
I think it has been an hour
Some
since.
good context.
Yeah, there's some context that you can kind of figure out, Donnie. Sounds like they're looking for a fight, and they've been kind of bored down here. They might be looking for something.
Oh, that sounds like a fish hook for Donnie to like just bite.
Hopefully there's low tones.
Yeah. So what
Oh,
do you
they're
guys want to do?
Oh, never mind. Well,
There's no way past them.
we could just
Either
trespass our way
we-
through.
Wait for them
So-
to go.
A moment passes, and you hear what sounds like the sound of metal screeching on metal coming from back behind you, like maybe a minecart being pushed along the tracks in the distance.
We can head back to the rope trick real quick.
Did anybody hear any response from Donnie? From Gray?
No.
Oh, are you there, Gray? He's still. You're still standing back. At
Oh.
the beginning.
I thought that was Beldani sneaking forward.
Oh, I think
No, we
the
all
group
moved.
went ahead a bit. Just in
Yeah,
case.
he's ahead of us,
Okay.
but I think you're with us. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that. Sorry.
No worries.
Okay.
So yeah, it sounds like a minecart might be coming, screeching from the east.
Are there some bits
west.
of rubble that we could dodge behind?
I mean, you could go further down the hallway, maybe. Try to get out of the line of sight, but it sounds like it's getting closer.
Do you think we should take our chances?
Donnie, Dahlia, over here. At least for the cart to pass.
And I will alert Beldani to the fact that something is coming up the track behind him.
All right.
Are we hiding or are we fighting?
I don't think we're fighting.
I think we
So,
wait
the
until
last
we have
resort.
to fight. Like, everyone be ready to fight, but let's stay hiding as long as it works.
so
We
give
could
me.
bluff our way. We know that the Draga are also wary of the giant, so it would be a perfectly good excuse why we would be hesitant to show ourselves.
So you see the big giant with the shields coming back, but he has another fire giant with him who is pushing an enormous minecart, which is screeching as it goes.
Is it
Give
loaded
me-
down with anything?
It sounds like it is. It sounds like it's heavy because it's definitely not pushing easily. Give me stealth checks as they move past.
And I will also,
So there are two of
Relay.
them there. I just only have one of them represented.
sure, I will relay that to Beldani as well.
Oh, Betha.
Oh,
Oh, no. She's gonna, like, elbow Don. Oh, he's over there.
Donnie!
She's gonna hiss, like, stop doing what you're doing. And he gets to roll again.
Alright.
I'm going to Flash of Genius Ivor. Bring that up to 12 plus 10.
Okay.
Neat.
Go ahead, Donnie. Reroll your one.
He
I
did.
did.
He did.
Oh, 22, yeah. Oh,
Okay.
oh my gosh. And that one, and yet it's still so good.
So there's a screeching as they walk past.
Something tells me Beldani's about to get stuck in the middle. Gonna have a Beldani sandwich.
So yeah, the big giants do move past you. Luckily, Beldani, you were pretty well hidden. I think the lowest roll was 18, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the giant comes
Or
up.
22 after the flash.
Yeah, I flashed him.
But still good enough, it seems.
The two of them come up with the minecart. He says fairly loud, which you could probably actually hear down the hall a bit, Donnie. He says the western areas are clear. We should keep an eye out, but we need to move the rest of those stones down the track a bit. Help me do a last sweep to the north, and then we're going to move the rest of the minecarts. You two stay here and keep an eye out.
Wonder what it is. Wonder what it is they're looking for. I say over the
Or
pond.
what they're transporting. What's in those mine carts? What stones do they
Rocks.
speak of? The ones
Well, I
they throw.
I would imagine so.
But yeah, so the big giant is going to head north with the guy who just pushed the minecart. These two kind of move the minecart up a bit, like they're moving into position to move along with more later, and just go back to guarding as this guy leaves the area for the time being.
Keep
So
up,
should-
Donnie.
Should we take this chance and try and bluff our way past those two?
We could, but it sounds as if they're, from what Donnie said, they're about to vacate the premises, so perhaps we
Well,
don't need
perhaps
to
we just let them do
wait.
that. Indeed. Although, I do wonder if perhaps we could use this opportunity to check and see what is in the carts over on the western hallway, and see if it's anything that we can make use of before it's gone forever.
Perhaps I
If it's
can
important
send
to them, it may
Chive.
be important to us.
Perhaps
I
I-
can stand here
Okay.
and make sure that if these two move, that you know they're coming.
Very well.
Perhaps I can send Chive so none of us have to actually head over to that tunnel. Or nope, Ivor's going. Never mind. We'll go.
Okay, so you head to the west, or sorry, yeah, no west. I was right. The tunnel looks fairly abandoned. It does look like they've moved a few carts down this track. You don't actually have to walk up it. 'Cause
Okay.
there's kind of a dead end up there, but then it just goes off the map, so I'll just delete your tokens for now. Or, well, I won't delete you, I'll move you to the other DM layer so you can come out easier next time. So you get up there, and when you go down for a ways down the left hall, you come to an area with a bunch of different hallways. It looks like it may have been mined recently, and a bunch of very large mine carts that are sort of in the different hallways. Looking inside, they are filled with iron ore. Lots of iron ore.
Okay. Nothing, well, I guess I wouldn't know. I'll ask Theo if he thinks that there's anything special about this iron, or if it's just regular old iron.
Lou, is it special iron?
I mean, it just looks like iron ore. They probably melt it down into steel. You would
So
guess.
it doesn't look like a higher grade or anything source?
No, but I mean, most of these guys' stuff is made of iron and steel. Like, they don't have special materials they use.
So this would be pretty valuable resource in their lives, in their culture, but not necessarily like more valuable than it's good ore, right?
Yeah, I mean,
It's just normal ore.
They probably use it to make a lot of weaponry and armors for their people.
Right,
For the
but it's not
Dwindler.
more valuable than the average ore or whatever. Like in our.
I mean, no, it's not. Yeah, it's just iron ore. It's nothing like magical.
Useful,
special.
but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Very useful, but yeah. Okay.
Boulder Bottom looks at it and says, well, this could be our way past the guards.
Do you think we should get into the cart?
I didn't even think about that.
He
Hide
says,
in the ore.
they could be bringing this right down to the city. This might get us past all the tunnels.
I do have the ability, I did prepare the ability to create a major illusion today. So perhaps if we were all to pile into a cart, I could make it look as if it were full of iron.
Can we all fit in one cart?
Oh yeah, these carts are huge.
All right, and the person pushing it wouldn't like accidentally bump us or whatever.
Bump you? What do you mean?
I don't know. Like if we're all piled into a cart, like, you said they're huge, so maybe not. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
you might rumble around a bit as you went, but like
As long as we're quiet, this illusion would.
These carts are like the size of like a small truck.
So as long as we're quiet and nobody reaches in to like touch the ore, this illusion could get us all the way down to the city.
It
could.
couldn't.
He nods. He says, "I don't know where they take us, but it could. We could skip any chance of bumping into more giants or whatever's attacking them." Just a thought.
I'm down for this.
I think it's a great idea, and I'll start to sneak my way back towards the rest of the group.
Very well.
Give me a stealth
When-
check, Baldoni. Although
Yep.
I don't think, even with a 1, I don't think they'd see you. They'd see, because you can't roll below a 23, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're fine. You don't even have to roll.
The one concern that I have would be where they intend to drop us off. If they're trying to take us all the way to the city and they do not make any stops along the way, it will be difficult for us to leave before they take us through the gate that goes into the city proper.
He laughs and
Well-
says, or if they dump us in a forge somewhere, that might be a little
Mm.
painful.
If
Well, the ore has to be refined before they can just dump it in a forge.
He says, true.
if it comes to that, I could always jump out of the cart, create a distraction, and then turn invisible,
That's a good idea.
drawing their attention while the rest of you flee.
I think we
We'll
do
keep
have
that
a
in
lot
our
of
back pocket.
options. Yeah, we have a lot of options for distractions that we could potentially use if things became dire, and some of them may not involve having Beldani jump out and be vulnerable. But
Worst comes to worst, I can just cast Hypnotic Pattern on him and hopefully stun him long enough
I
for us to
call
run
this
through as well.
plan the boogie boogie plan.
of course, does does hypnotic pattern have vocal components?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
But it's more so a situation of, hey, we're caught or about to go somewhere bad. We need to stop this very quick.
Yeah, definitely.
No,
As
no
a last-
verbal. Just somatic immaterial.
Okay, I think that's a good that's our plan then. I think if there's no verbal, then we're not putting Beldani in potential danger, and I mean, they could fail their saves, so we still need more plans, I guess. Never mind.
So
Sorry.
as
The
you're,
rest of
No, I
as
think that's a
you're-
good plan. It's a
As
good
you're
start.
thinking, you see Beldani come walking up the hallway to you.
Right.
I think if we're going to do this, we should move, as I don't suspect the giants will be gone very long. They seemed impatient about this whole thing.
I'll dive
I
into
agree.
one of the carts, like Scrooge McDuck into his coin.
Yeah.
I
We
agree.
all have to go in the
Bonnie,
same
but
cart.
I'm also in favor of us standing here and talking more. It's served us well in the past.
I don't like
You
their
talk all in
attitude,
dark.
Johnny.
You think this group is bad about
Donnie,
standing around talking?
Donnie,
Wow.
roll for sass, Donnie. Make a sass
Yeah,
check.
right?
Oh, he does.
Seriously.
We're a plus 30.
No, I think it's actually a really good plan.
I think you're channeling your other character a little.
Little Nathaniel's coming out there.
Yeah. All right, so you're gonna have everyone in one cart and create an illusion of ore above you to hide you. Is that what you said?
The idea, yeah.
Also, keeping a couple pieces of ore in with us in case they reach and be like, "Oh yeah, look at this ore." I can hand them one without interrupting the illusion.
What is this, like a Disney movie?
That's actually
Hey,
a really
man.
good idea. If each of us have a chunk of ore in our hands and a
Hold
hand
over
comes
our
to
heads.
us,
I mean,
yeah.
if these carts are full of ore already, we're not gonna want to take it all out anyway.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're probably gonna be laying on top of this shit.
Disney.
We are,
We're just
yeah.
we're digging a little dip in the ore pile for us to
Exactly.
like
And
sit in.
We will put the ore that we
Making
take
like
out
an ore sofa.
into. Yeah, we'll take the ore that we put out into the other carts so that they don't come along
Yeah,
and see a big
yeah.
pile of ore on the ground.
Okay.
I think it's a
And
plan.
if there's too much, we can fit it into a bag of holding.
So you're gonna remove or try to remove most of the ore from one cart, but have a few
No,
pieces
just
left.
enough for us to sit in there, yeah.
Yeah, and kind of carefully stack a little bit of it in each of the other carts so that they're a little fuller, but not like too full.
Okay. So you start getting to work moving some of the ore to one of the other nearby carts. Then get down inside of it, and when are you going to cast the illusion exactly? It's about 7 o'clock at this point, so it's been an hour since your last...
Until
oh
we
wait,
hear.
no, it's probably been about... Sorry, you've been down here longer than that. It's probably like 8:30 at this point.
Okay, then I will take 11 minutes to recast telepathic bond.
Okay.
But if I hear them coming along, I will stop and I will cast major image as soon as I hear the giants approaching closely.
Okay.
Actually,
Bell hears them.
maybe we should leave Chive at the corner so that he can warn us that they're very
Chive?
close.
Yeah, I'll resummon Chive. Chive only has 15 minutes left, so she'll go watch at the corner as we finish up the last of the ore movement.
All right.
Okay. So you're gonna wait till you hear movement, then start casting the illusion. Is that the plan?
Yeah, we're down inside the mine cart. So if we hear a giant imminently coming close, not somebody walking in the distance, but actually getting close, then I will cast it.
That and a big honking shield guy makes a lot of noise to help cover up any sound.
Yeah.
Good point.
Alright, so some time passes. You're actually here for quite a while. It's about 9 o'clock when you start hearing movement coming down the tunnel. Several big things coming close.
Chive goes poof.
An hour left on the bond. Then.
Hold on. So what
Actually,
time?
40.
And that's the one that you just recast?
Yeah, so I would have recast the bond. It takes 11 minutes. It was 8:30 when I started recasting it. So at 8:41. So by 9 o'clock, we'd only be 19 minutes into it.
Yeah.
I think this is still a good plan, but one thing to keep in mind is that this spell will end somewhere in between here and where they went to, if we're assuming that they simply went there, dropped it off, and came back for another.
Could we bury ourselves underneath the iron?
Yeah, if we want to suffocate.
Perhaps
pretty
we
heavy.
could bury ourselves a bit.
I'm in a metal thing. I'm good.
I still think it's the best option, but be prepared for whenever the spell fails.
Well, we have 10 minutes to figure out telepathically what we want to do when the spell fails. So
Indeed. Just keep it in mind.
Alright, so the giants are coming. You cast your illusion spell before they get here. As you finish it, there's a poof above you, and a bunch of, it looks like the top of the cart filled with ore appears. Or at least enough room that you can sit under it safely. You would hear some stomping as the giants come into the area, and screeching metal wheels as they start pushing the carts into position. including your cart, which is pushed out onto the main track. Several other carts bump into yours as they're all pushed onto the main track, and you feel yourselves all being pushed along the tracks as you begin your journey deeper into the mountains.
Question for you, Lou.
Yeah.
If we know there's an illusion, we can see through it, so we can see out of it. Do we feel like we're basically in like a train, in the middle of a train, or is there a giant right over us that we can see pushing?
No, the giant isn't right over you. You may have seen him briefly as he walked and pushed your cart out onto the main tracks, but at this point, you just feel like a bunch of carts are being pushed along with yours, and they're bumping into each other.
So
And
even
we're
if
at the front.
You would guess you're at the front or the second.
Okay, we would probably try to aim for the front one. Over the mind link, Zalia, do you have animate object?
I do.
If things come worse, animate the cart and have it run away with us.
I suppose I could do that.
Go, cart, go.
Right in the middle of a bunch of other carts, though, Theo. I'm not sure how.
We're towards the front, right?
Definitely going to be something that catches their eye and makes them go WTF.
Oh no, that's something like, oh, we've been caught, we need to get away very quickly. Go, cart, go!
Right.
Alright,
Well,
No talking our way out of that one. Or
I don't know that they'll
Sorry, I
even.
like crazy ideas.
I don't know that they'll even see us. I mean, we're far enough away from where they're pushing that we might be able to just hunker down and stay out of sight.
Oh yeah, just trying to make plans on plans in case everything goes bad.
All right.
give me a d20
Bad idea.
roll.
All
See
right.
if there's some trouble.
Come on, that one.
Why do you say these things?
Why do you do this?
Why
Alright,
are
so
you the way that you are?
you're being pushed along the track. You feel a few times where it slopes a bit, and you kind of go wee as the carts speed up a bit.
We do not go wee.
Theo
No
goes
one.
wee.
Telepathically.
Telepathic.
Not one of us says that.
Theo 100% ahead every time.
You hear Chevreau go wee as the carts-
Okay.
Yeah!
Oh, serious,
Wait,
yeah.
can you wee with a French accent, please?
Wee wee.
I mean, oui.
That's like the classic French. Everybody
Right,
knows how to
exactly.
wee with a French accent.
Classic French wee. So yeah, you're being pushed.
That was my point.
You're going downward, and there's some movement. You come to a point where you feel it sounds like things are slowing down a bit, or it feels like things are slowing down a bit. The cart is no longer being pushed. Donnie, are you the only one that speaks Giant?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
So one of them says to the other, I'm going to, you think it's the one with the shields. He says, there are some more carts we need to pick up in these areas. Wait here. You two come with me. We're going to gather the others and bring them over here. If we're going back down, we might as well bring all the carts with us if we can. And they nod. So you hear footsteps moving away. Does the group want to do anything?
How many minutes has it been?
Good question. It's about 9:45 at this point. So you've been on these tracks for a while.
So the illusion's gone.
It's getting close to the time when your illusion will poof.
I could hold Monster and try to restrain him.
So, well, first, I guess my question would be: is Donnie telling us these things? Telling us what they've said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how many of them are still out there? Just one?
It sounds like just one, though you're not sure how far away the other one got. Or the other ones got. You don't hear them anymore, so they must be at least somewhat down the tunnel.
Well, I would
Someone
say,
yell.
Sneaky look.
say that we need Zalia to be re-upping the illusion. So if we do anything, maybe someone else should do it,
Could
not
try to
Zalia
cast
holding.
again very quietly, but it's only 10 minutes. I think this is the time where there's just the one.
This is our
Okay,
best chance to
perhaps-
escape, I think.
I agree. I could perhaps have Tinder go and cause a distraction if he's willing to do so, and see if he can get this giant to turn his head just long enough for us to get out of the cart, and then perhaps that will perhaps that will create some anxiety about devils, but no anxiety about us.
How far did
Yeah.
we travel? Like, do we think we're close to the city, or how?
It's hard to say because, well, I guess if you ask Boulder Bottom, he says,
He's in our link.
Yeah, so he would say I would have to look outside, but I guess we've made some good progress. We've been traveling for quite a while along this rail. I would have to look outside, then I can get my bearings. And,
Honestly, we don't even know how easy it will be for us to move away from this cart and have a place to hide.
We gotta do it.
I'm Beldani just basically prairie dogs up very stealthily just to
Alright.
look around and see.
Give me a stealth check as you pop your head out for a moment.
How long were we traveling? Is my Pass Without Trace still up for him?
No, not at this point.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter for Beldani. He's going to be good anyway.
So yeah, you pop your head out. You see the big giant just leaning up against the wall, looking around. He definitely doesn't notice you.
How far away from the cart is he?
He's like maybe 10 feet away, pretty close still. Just kind of looking down the hallways.
So
Leaning
I'll
up
just
against the wall.
Let's just take care of him.
mentally think he's right there, but he's not looking our direction.
I've always planned. Let's try to distract him and we'll move off in the other direction. Can you lead us? We could use the rope trick.
So I will say it's close to 8:30. We might want to stop here and execute that next week.
Sounds good.
Alright, so why don't we do MVP votes, and yeah, we can continue next week as the group tries to distract the giant and flee. Flee!
They're gonna do all the stealthing.
I know, right?
All the stealth and
Doesn't
No.
suck to have a rogue who can't roll less than a 23.
fucking rogue.
If we do try and go ahead.
It's a bit split. Zalia and Beldani are candidates, so I need a roll off.
I decline. I have plenty of inspiration. It's all
Alright.
I
good.
was going to say I was going to cede the inspiration to you, but if you already refuse, then thank you. I will.
Alright, so Beldani wins by through politeness. Congrats.
Thank you.
And we will pick it up next time as you continue sneaking around.
Night, folks.
Good job.
Sneaky,
everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Yeah, have a good night.
Why does the silence spell require a verbal component? That's really infuriating.
It's quiet after you cast it.
Like, if you're gonna cast it in situations where you don't want noise to happen, then that's, like, really frustrating.
It does have a long range, I believe. So I think you can cast it pretty far away from you.
Oh, yes, you are correct. 120 feet. I didn't realize that. It's one of those spells that is really good at low levels, but, like, I tend to forget about when I get to higher levels, or to even medium levels, you know?
It's a toolbox spell. It's very situational, but extremely useful when you need it.
Yeah, in the right situation, it's amazing. Just like blindness, deafness. Like, I think I've only used it once or twice successfully in my D&D career or on any character, but it's like in that situation where you need that, it's so good. Actually, I think I've only used Warding Wind once as well, and that was when those banshees were screaming at us on the Monday night group to deafen. Oh, like I intentionally deafened our party.
Yeah, there's a lot of spells like that they're very situational. But if you have them in the right situation, they can make things much easier.
Well, luckily we had encountered a banshee, and then we rested. So I was like, "Yep, preparing this." I like changed up Betha's spell list a lot during those last rests, just trying to kind of guess stuff for these caverns, but there's still like these situations where I really want to have something, but there's not really anything I can do. But yeah, we've got other people with useful stuff.
So how you been, Mary?
I'm okay.